Welcome back to the Field Podcast with Chris Cyr. I am welcome to sit with Lance Smith, the owner and founder of Vermont Sports Car. Something personally for me, I've watched and been a part of rally for a long time, but as I grew up and I've been watching rally, seeing what Lance had done and all of the infrastructure he brought to this sport, and now to the moment where I get to sit and interview you, this is a huge moment for me personally. So I'm looking forward to bringing you guys along on our journey, learning about Lance's life and how he got here to today. And Lance, it looks like from your history, you've driven 5 rallies and co-driven 69 rallies. So you have some seat time and actually time behind the wheel.
Yes, a little bit.
And then also owning the Vermont Sports Car. And we'll talk about Rally Forward, your new kind of program that you're doing. Yeah. So pretty amazing stuff that you've been able to turn a life into a business in stage rally. And just hoping to learn some of your big key moments in your life that have allowed you to be here to today.
Okay, good. Well, thanks for having me here.
Well, I like to go all the way back. So let's go back to the beginning. Where are you from, born and raised, and what was your childhood like?
I was born in Burlington, Vermont.
Okay. You haven't moved very far.
No, I like it in this part of the country.
And you've got to see a lot of the world.
Yeah, I've been all over. I grew up, I'm one of 6 children.
Oh.
And the youngest of 6.
Okay.
And it's 5 boys and 1 girl.
Okay.
And my parents and basically in the north end of Burlington.
Okay.
We had the upstairs of our house where we grew up. The 5 boys were all in the upstairs, one long room, the whole length of the house. So we're
I could imagine that.
It was wild. Being the youngest, it was wild. So
you get tough quick, I bet.
Yeah, I was called the baby.
Oh,
So it was, I was picked on a little bit, but
you were protected.
Yeah, I got to follow the path. They made the path, so that was cool. They were blockers,
That's awesome.
So born in 1961.
Okay.
Right, so I'm 63 now.
Wow.
Yeah, 64 this summer.
Wow.
And just grew up. My brothers were gearheads. My brother Ouija was Ouija and Colin were most into cars. And my brother Michael, when I grew up, I remember early memory, there was a Volkswagen Bug engine downstairs of our house that my brothers carried down to rebuild. And, the cowl on the engine was all cleaned up and painted metallic green. And, we're talking 1970 probably that I saw that. It was just like, wow.
That's really cool.
Yeah, so I was around cars since the very beginning.
What did your parents do?
My dad worked for General Electric Corporation,
Wow.
And he was in the military, in the National Guard and the Navy, and retired as a colonel. And my mom worked at Rosenall Ski Factory, and she, was a housewife and raised 6 kids. So he was gone, she was home, and we started getting a little older, and then she worked for a little while.
Wow.
Yeah, she worked her ass off.
Wow, that's amazing.
With us.
Between the kids.
Yeah.
Wow, that's amazing. So what, is there any big lessons that you learned from your dad and like his path in life? A military kind of guy, I'm sure he's probably is that kind of the old school military dad experience?
Yeah. When I graduated high school, I was 17, and I didn't know exactly what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
And the day after graduation, there was a recruiter at my house, and I was joining the National Guard, and my father said, "That's the decision. You don't know what you're doing. We're going to do this." And it was one of the best parts of my life.
Okay.
I was in for 13 years.
Oh, wow.
And really enjoyed it. Taught me a lot.
Okay.
So I loved the Vermont Guard, and I'm thankful to them for part of where I am,
Yeah.
So
what are the biggest lessons you got from that? 13 years is a long time.
Yeah, I wasn't full-time 13 years. I was still at home.
Okay.
So the first 3 years, I was very busy with it. Yeah. And then I was really a weekend guy after that.
Okay.
But, they, in the military, they kind of take you down before they build you up.
Sure.
And you're a better person for working hard. It shows you discipline and drive and focus and teamwork and many, many things. So I carry that with me today it is definitely part of my life.
Wow.
You know,
That's
so yeah,
cool.
really good.
I didn't
really
realize
good.
that about you. That's awesome.
I never went to combat or anything like that. Trained a lot.
Sure.
I was a gunner on a tank and a tank commander and things like that. Yeah, I ended my career in the mountain company.
Okay.
And so I don't know what year that was, but I can tell you the young guys that were just coming back from combat kicked my butt.
Yeah.
And Vermont Sports Car was taking off at the time, and I really had a decision to make.
Okay.
Because I couldn't give them the time they needed.
Sure.
And I was always gone racing and rallying and working, and I just chose motorsport at that time.
Interesting.
And if I didn't make that decision, I wouldn't be sitting here today.
Yeah. I bet. Let's take a step back. So you're in your teen years. What were you doing to pay your bills, or what kind of bills did you have back then? And
well, thankfully, you know, my parents were super good to us. That's all great. Right. And I was working in my parents' garage on rally cars, on cars, let's say, wanting to be rally cars. And, you know, I was married and went through a divorce after a couple of years and moved back home. And my parents allowed me to chase my dream, you know, and go racing and do the motorsports thing and restore cars and just get turned around on that one thing. So honestly, I was very lucky to not have a lot of bills, only the ones I created.
Right.
Yep.
And an amazing support system.
Oh, yes, I did. Between my brothers, so I had two brothers in the business from the beginning.
Yeah.
And there's four boys. They've all helped in my business at one time or another.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's cool.
You know, my sister helped one time, you know, after my divorce, she took my son and myself in.
Wow.
And, you know, she taught me a lot too, and very close to her. And it's, I've been thankfully surrounded by great people my whole life.
Wow.
And that was just the beginning.
No.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll get into that a little bit more.
Okay.
So before we started, you spoke about the only real job you had was working at a grocery store.
Well, I've had two jobs before this one.
Tell us about that.
So there was a corner store, Laro's Market, that I worked at in high school at the you know, sort of like sophomore on.
Sure.
And I worked there. It changed hands while I was there, and I actually ended up marrying the store owner's daughter.
Okay.
We had one child together, and his name is Justin. He's 40.
Okay.
But again, great support system. Showed me hard work. This was an old Vermonter. He also worked at General Electric as a machinist, so he had tools and equipment. We were always working on something. And his attitude in life as a young man, like at 15, right? You can do it. Come on. You know, which was the same as the following job, would teach me how to do stuff I had no idea, running tractors. And I drove a dump truck for him.
Right.
You know, 18-wheel dump truck.
Right. The Vermont lifestyle.
Prior to CDL time, by the way.
I've noticed that I'm not from New England, and when I moved here, there's definitely, even still today, there's a culture here of everyone just needs to help. There's not enough people here, right? Yeah. So like the kids need to be helping
for sure.
do the things, and so it gives them an amazing life experience. But I didn't see that as much out west when I was born and raised out there. So
so I grew up in Williston. That's where we spent most of our time. Moved there when I was about 12. Yeah. And in the community, there was a lot of farms and farmers, you know. Right. So those guys were pretty crafty. Kids my age knew a lot more than I did.
Right.
So I was dropped into it pretty quickly. And hanging around with those guys, you were always fooling with something, you know. Yeah, it was pretty wild. So we had some great times. Yeah.
That's amazing. So what was the next job after the...
The second job that I had was after I came back from basic training and being away at some other schools and things like that. I was in the garage at home and helping my brother Ouija put a headliner in a 911. I didn't really know a lot about cars, right?
Yeah.
And we were putting this headliner in the 911, and it came out, was pretty nice, didn't have any wrinkles. And this British guy came in and he says, "You have a job?" And I'm like, "No, I just got out, shaved head, still and all that." And I said, "No, I don't have a job right now." He says, "Why don't you come work for me?" And we were, I was cleaning cars and stuff in the garage and doing small stuff like that. But he said, "Why don't you come to work for me?" So his name was Tivy Shenton. And Tivy was a British gentleman that came to Vermont to work for John Buffum. Okay. And it didn't work out with him and John Buffum, so he started his own business.
Okay.
Well, Tivy in England had a company called Spec Fab. CNS, I think, Course and Stage or something like that, Race Course and Stage. I don't know the name of it. But he had a Hermitite factory BMW race team and won some very prestigious races around the world.
And he's in the middle of nowhere, Vermont.
Well, no, sorry. He was in England doing that.
Oh, okay.
Okay. And he came to Vermont to work for John.
Got it.
Closed his business and came to Vermont, started a new life. But he had done his apprenticeship at Rolls-Royce. Wow. And he worked for Ralph Broad, Broadspeed. So they had the factory escort race team back then, Mark I escort race team. So he did a lot. He actually built one of the Chitty Chitty Bang Bangs for Pinewood Studios.
Wow.
And did some amazing stuff. And he was a real craftsman.
Yeah.
Okay. He was, in my mind, gifted.
Yeah.
And he just passed away last year. Very sad.
Yeah.
But I got to spend almost 7 years with him. And literally, the majority of the time, it was him, his wife, and myself. Wow. So it was like going to school every single day. I agreed to work for him. I went there. He said, "Well, we'll talk how you do at the end of the week, and we'll decide how much you get paid then." I said, "Sure." And I was there like 2 days, and I said, "I'm going to stay here 5 years, guaranteed 5 years. This guy's smart,
Right.
I was into it.
Yeah.
And like I said, I stayed 7. At the end of the first week, he said, "Okay, I'll give you $5 an hour. How's that?" "Sure, I'll do it."
Yeah. That's awesome. But you could see the value in the education.
Yes. Yeah. So we were doing sports car restorations. We were doing repair on tractors for farmers. I once went to we had a remote welder. I went to a farm up the road on an aluminum ladder and basically welded the inside of a well together. The ladder was in water, and I'm welding, and I was like, "Is this going to be all right?" He's, "Oh, you'll be fine." So we had quite a little experience, but
so you're not backflipping motorcycles like Travis Pastrana, but you're welding in wells. And
we were doing some stuff.
You're doing some wild things.
Yeah. So it was a great education, and we got into the details. We actually did. Looking back at it today, from what VSE's doing and other teams are doing, is very archaic. But in the day, 5-link rear suspension was pretty serious.
Right.
A Watts linkage was very serious.
Right.
Bump steer was what?
Right.
So I was learning all sorts of things.
What do you think? Is there like one or two really big things that you're still using today in Vermont Sports Car from that experience?
I think determination on the goal.
Okay.
Right? So I'm a very long range guy.
Yeah.
I don't get, every day has its stresses.
Sure.
But once I get hooked on something that I want to achieve, I don't give up. And I don't really care the setbacks or the competition or negative feelings from outside. I just keep going.
Right.
And we built a car ourselves at his shop, and it was called the Shenton Fog. A friend of mine came into the building with a sketch of a car. He was a well-funded guy, and a 90-degree side view.
Right.
"Can you build this?" And he looked at it, and he said, "Sure, I can build it." And I worked on that car every single day for 2.5 years.
Always.
Not always on the weekends, but
sure.
That was my job.
Yeah.
And in the end, the goal of that car was to out-accelerate a new Corvette. And it did it in 1984. And it had a wooden body that you sat in on a frame that we made, chassis that we made, with an Aston Martin 4-cam V8. And we made the body panels out of steel. We gas welded them all together. And that car's being restored right now in Florida. I had it for a little while, and the original owner, he still owns it, and he's restoring it now. And anyway, that was to do all of that, make panels up and then take them to chroming and you know,
built a car from scratch.
We built the car, and it was really
an amazing
really wild.
crucible for you to learn under.
And this was like I said, 1930s Roadster, so it was really in the day of the Gazelle. I don't know if you remember Gazelle. So you could buy all these kit cars back then with 1930s look, Volkswagen powered or something like that.
Yeah.
And this one was, really nice, like a Jaguar on the inside, and just beautiful.
Wow.
Yeah. So that I'm very proud of doing, and it's still part of my life. And it was who gets to stop for 2.5 years and only get to do one thing.
Right.
Today, look at all of us.
Right.
We're doing, dozens of things in a day.
Right.
And not getting to focus on one thing.
Right.
And I can remember when I was working up there, and my son Justin had just been born, and we had a 2-car garage that was also 2 cars deep, so a 4-car garage. That was the shop. Okay.
Yeah.
Pretty small.
Right.
And I used to do the sandblasting for these restoration projects. So I was outside. It was in the wintertime. I was outside sandblasting. Every 20 minutes, I had the air line went from inside the building through the window and outside. And I was sandblasting. We'd shovel the snow away, and I was out there laying on the ground sandblasting. And I can remember distinctly, this place was also heated by wood. You had to hand the fire in wood through the window to keep it warm, right? And I'd go out there, and I was sandblasting, and I had a grin from ear to ear because I just had a child, and I'm there laying on the ground. The sun was shining, so you couldn't really see much, through the hood, sandblast hood. It was difficult, but I'm trying to do a good job, and I'm just smiling like my life was perfect right then.
Wow.
So every 20 minutes or half an hour, you had to bring the hose in
to thaw.
It would stop because the water from the compressor that wasn't great would freeze on the way out. So it was a long process, but
you knew in the moment.
Yeah,
you were
life
at a
was
special
good.
point
I was where I belonged.
Wow.
Yeah, I stayed there 7 years, and I carry all the gifts he gave me to this day, and it's my passion. It's my passion,
It's interesting though. It all started from you doing a really good job on one thing though, right? So I think a lesson that I want to make sure we highlight in this is that you were doing a job with your brother, and you didn't cut a corner, and you provided a service that showed us your attention to detail, right?
Yeah, I was following what my brother did.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It wasn't me creating it, but together we were doing it.
Right.
And, trying to make it nice, and it did work. It came out very nice. He restored the whole car, and it was beautiful when it was done. But yeah, it wasn't cutting a corner. Right. It wasn't cutting a corner.
I've seen some young people, like, they get distracted, or there's other things in their life, and they just put in 70%, right? And so it's, you don't know in that moment that if you would have put 100% into that one thing, that could have been the thing to unlock the next opportunity for you.
Correct. Yeah.
And so that's where I want to make sure is a clear moment in time, especially when you're young. You don't know when the guy's going to walk into the door and give you a 7-year internship effectively.
Exactly. And I don't know that I would want to be growing up today. There's so many options.
Right.
Their phone brings so many options to what to do or not to do with their life.
Right.
Where back then, there was nothing. You wanted information, you stopped at the corner store.
Right.
Or read the newspaper.
Yeah.
Listen to the radio. So it would be extremely challenging to make a choice today, and I think that's one of the biggest problems.
Yeah,
the information's easy to get on Google.
Yeah.
You don't actually have to learn it with your hands or your eyes or reading, and So you learn it, it's with you short-lived, and go on to the next thing, where spending 7 years in something, you decide if you're going to stay or not. Right? You're either committed or you're not.
Right.
And when it gets inside you, that's the biggest thing I see with young people is they can't make a decision on what they want to do.
Because they have too many choices.
Right.
Yeah.
The earlier you make a decision, and you know, I was told very young, if you find something you love, you'll become good at it. If you become good at it, you'll be paid to do it. And if you're good at something, you can make a living.
Yeah.
Pretty simple.
Yeah.
Right? But you have to decide what that is.
Right.
And I think that's the issue that a lot of people have.
Yeah.
So, I stood by it, and, you know, I smiled every day I went to work. I still do today. I mean, some days are really challenging, but I often describe what I'm doing as a hobby that went bad, and I mean
Turned it into a career.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. You know, I started it because I loved it, and it just blossomed and kept going. And you know.
One thing I've noticed, and my wife and I've debated this even too, is like getting the answer right away doesn't allow you to wonder, right? And then the other thing, I'm just at my generations. I remember not having computers, not having cell phones, so I remember when you found out the thing you were wondering weeks, months, years later, right? And so I don't know, it just helps retain that knowledge because you've wondered what is the answer of the thing that you didn't get the access to.
You tried to get it for a while.
So we've been trying to implement this in our kids' lives where we let them wonder longer, because we can get all the answers with a quick, you know, hey Siri.
Exactly.
But you know, we're trying to implement some of that old school mentality in our family, because I think that is important. The other thing that I've also noticed too, on your point of too many choices, is what are the distractions? What are the things? Was there ever a point in your life where there was a big carrot somewhere else that you could have? I think you talked about a moment where Vermont Sports Car or the National Guard, like you kind of had a moment in life. Yeah. Tell us about, like, how did you make that decision? What was going on in your life at that point?
Basically, I couldn't do the National Guard anymore except to be full time, because it was tearing at me. So when I was a tank commander in an armor unit, I eat and sleep to tanks. I knew a lot about them. I was good at my job. When I moved over to the mountain infantry, I was dropped in it with almost no knowledge. And I was an E6, and so the subordinates knew way more than I did. And I couldn't dedicate the time to learn. Yeah. So I was leading without the knowledge, and I couldn't do it. I felt bad for them, and I was not faking it, but I was like, guys, I'm struggling. Right. And so when you have a group of people that aren't fully committed behind you, or don't believe in your leadership, you step out of the way. Right. You know, and that's what I did. I made the choice. Okay. You know, at that time, I don't know what I was. I wasn't 18 anymore. So I was in the early 30s maybe. Okay. But I couldn't dedicate the time. Okay. And that was that. I mean, I didn't have it in me to go back and relearn something. Yeah. Because I had two passions.
You had a choice. Yeah. Right. Like, so if you had no other choice, maybe you would have, but you had another option.
And it was very difficult, because we come from a military background, our family. And, you know, I thought about it at a young age. Geez, if I give this up, I'm going to have to get my own health insurance later in life. Do I want to give that up? Retirement, do I want to give that and go on my own? So I seriously did think about it. Oh, right,
because you were 13 years in. So you only had 7
to go.
More
Yeah.
Wow.
And to walk away from that was a serious discussion in my head, you know. Sure. But the cars just pulled hard, man.
All right, let's dive into that. When did Vermont Sports Car? When was the founding year of Vermont Sports Car?
I believe it to be. I'm going to say really in maybe 87. I say 1988. Okay. That's the year that I can say we were fully there. so I after my time with Tivy, I left there, went through a divorce, and I basically split because I couldn't manage myself.
Sure.
And so I went to California for part of the winter, and then Florida for part of the winter.
Okay.
And I'd lived one winter away from Vermont in my entire life.
Really?
That was it. Yeah. And
Okay.
I couldn't do it.
You needed the snow.
Yeah, I needed it to. It was too hot, too sticky.
Yeah.
It was. I felt colder over in Northern California than it was in Vermont.
Huh.
There was no snow, but it was darn cold out there.
That's funny.
And so I wanted to come back home.
Okay.
So when I came back home, I was actually on a visit over a Christmas period, and a gentleman that we restored his cars at Tivy's came to me and said, "Hey, how'd you like to do some work for me?" And I was like, "What does that mean?" He goes, "Oh, I'll put a space up and you can work on it." Well, previous to that, I was doing some work for him at night.
Oh, okay.
I had 3 jobs. I had Tivy's during the day.
Okay.
This is when I was just had a baby and all those things, right? You got to get stuck in. So my dad had a repair shop. He bought it for his sons. Thought that would take off, and so I'd work at Tivy's till 5. I'd go to my dad's till 10, and I'd go from 10 to 2 over at the bowling center, which used to be called the Yankee Lanes in Colchester, and I'd work on Jags. There was 4 lanes that weren't repaired, weren't finished yet. There was just a warehouse, and I would have E-type Jaguars back there. I would be working on them.
Who was that? That you were working
Dick
with?
Corley.
Okay.
So he became one of my first partners.
Okay.
Still good friends today.
Yeah.
Yep. And so
was it his cars?
Yes,
or, okay.
his cars.
Okay. Yeah.
So of course I go to Tivy, now I'm back settled in town. I said, "Hey, I hope you don't mind. I'm going to do some Jaguar work." And he was going more into vintage racing. And he said, "You can have them all, Lance." And I was like, "No." And so I inherited a bunch of work.
Oh, wow.
Instantly.
Oh, wow.
And it was difficult. I didn't do them all there. Eventually, they built a building right next door to the bowling center, so I didn't have to listen to the balls and the pins all night. And so the building was 5,000 square feet, and I had about 1,500 in it.
Wow.
Yeah, my first tools were a vise, a wooden bench, and it was like, okay, here we go, a little small toolbox, here we go. And it was awesome.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So that was Vermont Sports Car.
Yes.
You were managing Jaguars, is what Vermont...
basically doing restorations on cars. Yeah.
Okay.
So at that time, I think I was 26.
Okay.
And I had a budget. So I had 2 partners, Dick Corley and Angelo Pizzigalli, both successful business guys in Burlington.
Okay.
And at 26 years old, I had a letter of credit at the bank signed by them.
Sure.
And I traveled to the best auctions in the country on my own, and I got to buy a car at a time, and bring it home and restore it. And we either sold it or they put it into a collection of their own. Wow. Right at that young age.
Wow.
I bought a V12 Jag one time in one of the auctions, California somewhere. And I listened to it. I ran it. Start was really good. Body was pretty nice. I said, "Okay, we'll take it." And I brought it home, and I found out. I looked at it, and the oil gauge was wired funny, so it went full oil pressure all the time. As soon as I figured that out, I was like, "Oh man, am I screwed?"
Oh man.
Anyway, it wasn't. It was okay. It
But
by.
that was a moment of your heart sank as
I was really good at taking stuff apart, and I'd have to call my brothers in to put it back together. To tell you the truth, when I was in high school, I did 3 years of woodworking and 1 year of mechanical stuff. I brought our lawnmower in to rebuild it right on tractor.
Yeah.
And yep, it was great. My father had to hire somebody to put it back together. That's a God's honest truth. So
at least you know your strength.
yeah, that'd be a great
take it apart. You're the deconstruction
salvage
expert.
yard guy. But in the end, I did learn something.
The Vermont Sports Car salvage yard. I'd like to see that actually.
Yeah. But I was more of a fabrication guy and a welder than actually a mechanic. I mean, I was a mechanic, but not as talented as I'm surrounded by these guys that are great. So I just mess things up.
Wow, that's amazing. So when did you get to, I guess, boil down the focus? So what was it, 26 that you were pretty much just doing the Jaguar work then at that point?
Yes. So to go back to Tivvy's, we would also do some work on his rally cars. Okay. So when I was getting my license, right, I just had gotten my license, and this is 1977, probably.
Yeah.
I had got my sister's hand-me-down Celica. I went to the Toyota dealer because a new model just came out, and I was looking through a brochure. This is God's honest truth. Looking through a brochure, and the back of the brochure had a Corolla rally car in the air in the snow. Taisto Heinonen from Canada.
Yeah.
And he was there, and the shot was coming at you, and I was like, what in the hell is that? Right? So that was prior to working for Tivy.
Okay.
Right? So I found rallying then.
Okay.
And then I knew of this John Buffum in Burlington.
Yeah.
And I remember it was a snowy night, and I pulled into a gas station, and there was a guy with a truck and a trailer, right? And he was filling up, and he had the British Leyland rally coat on. Wow.
That's amazing.
Amazing. That caught my eye, and he had a British accent, and it was not Tivy, it was somebody else.
Yeah.
But I was like, wow. Can you imagine, and that car on the road?
Yeah.
So it got me there. But when I went to Tivy's, we were doing a bunch of work. Like I said, came over for John Buffum, and they ended up it didn't work out with him. He started his own thing, but we would still do some of John's work.
Really?
Yes.
He'd wreck something or need something.
Yeah, we'd go down and help him with some stuff, and that's when at the time John Buffum was his nickname was himself. Right? He is the most focused guy on rally and competition in the world. Right?
Yeah.
So, you'd go in there, you'd start at 8 o'clock, and it wouldn't be 10 o'clock till he'd say hi. Right? Because he was focused on getting all the stuff done. He wasn't rude. He was just focused, you know? And I can see that today now that I'm older. But anyway, at one time, John had just gotten the Michel Mouton first Quattro, A1 Quattro, or whatever they call it, first version.
Yeah.
He had, prior to that, there was TR7s. Then there was GTIs, which was Salty, started his program where Tim ended up going, right? And these were Mark I Rabbits or Golfs.
Right.
And then there was a 4000 Audi in there that was two-wheel drive. And on the back of the window sticker, it said, "When I grow up, I want to be a Quattro."
Nice.
Crazy, huh?
That's amazing.
And then, serious. And so I got to see all that stuff. I was there embedded. And when John got the Audi, it flew into, I believe this, it flew into New York City, and then they drove it up. They put it on a trailer and drove it up to South Burlington where his shop was. And Tivy and I went down there to help him make sure the suspension was right, check it over, set the suspension. And we worked on the car for a little while. Of course, it was amazing. This is current state-of-the-art stuff there. Right? It's a works rally car.
Right.
Wow.
Right.
And at the end of our afternoon when we were there, John asked Tivy, "Hey, come on, I'll take you for a ride." And Tivy said, no, take the kid. Well, I was the kid. So I got in the car with John, and we went out behind his building. There was an industrial park that wasn't quite built. And we went out back there, and, here's the rally car, turbo four-wheel drive on those BF Goodrich TA mud and snow tires, like truck tires.
Yeah.
And it lit up all four wheels on tarmac. And put your head back in the seat, and he went up through the gears and all of that stuff, and I was just you know, like
Your first rally car ride was with John Buffum.
somebody injected my arm, you know, and yeah,
amazing.
so it's pretty wild.
Yeah. What year was this, you think?
I think that car was I want to guess that car was a 82.
Yeah. But what year was this for you? Like, was this 83 or 4?
I would say 83.
Okay.
I'm not sure, John.
Yeah.
John would have to tell you.
Yeah.
But whatever the first year is, he got a Quattro. It was that year.
Okay.
So, yeah, pretty
amazing.
Pretty amazing.
That's awesome.
Real
So
lucky.
now you're addicted and you're working on Jaguars. Like, where was the transition to like actually starting to really work on rally cars?
Yeah. So I bought just a little ways after that time. I bought a 1985 Volkswagen Golf production rally car.
Okay.
That Nelson Shepherd had.
Okay.
Okay. Nelson and I were good friends in that rally. The community in Williston was very small, and he was at a dealership there. So he had a red 8-valve, and it had a bolt-in cage, and I bought it. And it was like a year old or 2 years old. I believe it was $3,700, $3,750.
To be exact.
Yeah. So I got it. Excuse me. I thought I was king of the world.
Sure.
And so I had it outside of our shop. And outside of our shop, the partner, Dick Corley's office was, 20 feet away with big windows, and that car sat there. And I said, the company was named Vermont Sports Car Restorations at the time, right?
Okay.
So the graphics were amazing. It was a red car with a single white stripe.
Right.
and then the Vermont Sports Car on there. So it sat there for a while. And I only had used it, there was a very small rally that we did at Loudon. I took it there and hadn't really done too much with it. And so he said to me, "What the hell's that car out there?" I said, "Oh, it's a rally car." "What's a rally car?" And anyway, he was a former jet fighter pilot, so he was totally into speed.
Okay.
Plus, he had the sports cars, the Jags, and all
right.
that. And so it didn't take too long. We had a small meeting. I invited, because I didn't know anything about rally, so I invited Nelson Shepherd over, and he came over to talk to Dick and I, and John came over, and at different times. But so they explained what rallying was to Dick. And I can't tell you whether Angela was there or not. But then Dick said, "Okay, I want to try rally." So we ended up renting a car from John, and we went to do a rally. And I think we had a different co-driver. I wasn't a co-driver at the time, So it started to evolve like that.
Okay.
So we rented a car, different cars, and to be honest, we had some issues. And in the end, he was like, "Look, I want to buy my own car." And I said, "Look, can I build a car for you? Could I just make a car, you know?" And in the end, they had a really amazing thing. So the 165 Celica was out, and John Buffum put a program on where you could Tim was involved. Got the best drivers in the country with the same car to drive down the same road in the afternoon. They were trying to find out the best rallyists in the country, right?
Oh, cool.
So one of those cars got wrecked, and I bought another one that was wrecked on the other end, and I glued them together.
Really?
Yeah. So
So that was your first Vermont Sports Car's first rally car, was a Celica repair job?
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I guess the Volkswagen, if you bought that.
No, the Volkswagen first.
Yeah.
For sure. Because I worked on that day and night.
Yeah,
and
okay.
it was somebody else created it. And
Yeah.
I inherited it.
Yeah.
And that was that. But we made the big time for us came when we started with Mitsubishi Eclipses.
Okay.
So we bought a Mitsubishi Eclipse. I bought a used race car to turn into a rally car. And my brother and I went to a junkyard and we bought 3 wrecked Eclipses.
Nice.
Put them on the same trailer.
Nice.
Right? And brought them home. And that was my parts kit.
Wow.
And that's how it started.
Wow.
It was like I stripped them all for axles and diffs.
Is this the late 80s Eclipse?
Yes, correct.
Yeah.
Yeah. 4-wheel
Okay.
drive, the coupe sort
Yeah.
of thing. Yeah. And, you know, I've read Galant VR4, all the stuff was underneath that same car.
Yeah.
Right? So, okay, they use that car in Europe, so I should be able to buy good parts for it. So that's why I chose that car.
Tell us about the business side of this for you. So, was it Dick and Angelo are your partners?
Yes.
Were they helping finance some of this, or how did you?
In the beginning, yes.
Yeah.
So I had no money.
Right.
Right. I owned a third of the business. I had no money.
Okay.
Right. So that was the deal. We would go and get these cars. We would restore them. We would sell them, and I would get a third of the profit.
Nice.
And I was getting paid $7.50 an hour at that time.
Wow, you got a big
pretty
raise.
solid.
Yeah.
Solid. And so anyway, it was a great partnership. We did well. The collector car market went down in those years.
Yeah.
You know, it went down, and Dick was doing a lot of rallying. And, you know, I would say the business wasn't balanced. It wasn't doing well for them. And literally, I went down to Angelo's house. Dick was out of town. I went to Angelo's house, and I said, "Look, I need a raise. I can't do this, bud.
Right.
You know, I'm struggling." And he said, "How much you looking for?" And I said, $15 an hour. I was probably up at 9 or 10 back then, you know, after a couple of years. And I said, "I need $15 an hour." And he said, "Well, Lance, to tell you what, I'm out." He said, we're gonna close the business. I'm not interested anymore, and we're gonna shut down. You're done. So I asked for a raise. I got fired.
Oh boy.
And I went back home with my tail between my legs, and it wasn't about 10 days before we all could sit down and get together.
Yeah.
And so I talked to the guys. I said, "Guys, look, you're not getting it." I said, "I want to do this. This is my thing.
Right.
Like, I'm here. And I don't want to stop this business." And they said, "Well, Lance, you can buy it." So we had a van and a trailer. We had a welder. I convinced them to buy a 1-ton van. They didn't know why. Well, it was a rally van, and a day after we got it. But anyway, so I bought the van, the trailer, and the tools, which were very small, one welder or 2 welders.
Yeah.
And I paid $10,000 for the business.
Okay.
They financed it. I had $2,000 in my savings account, and that was the beginning of Vermont Sports Car.
Wow.
The real Vermont Sports Car.
Yeah.
So I incorporated in 1990.
Okay.
I was by myself running it since '88 without them.
Sure.
Right? And then I was like, okay, this is a real deal. We're actually supposed to be above board here.
Right.
So then it became a corporation, and that's when I really started. And they allowed me to stay in the warehouse, right? Not
so it was a
very
mutual
amicable.
Yeah.
We're all still friends today.
Okay.
We're still very good friends today.
That's awesome.
It was
man.
very
What do you think
amicable.
the reason to not? Why were they out? Do you think?
Dick was spending a lot of money in rally.
Okay.
Okay. I didn't have to cough up a third of it.
Yeah.
The car market went down, so all of a sudden they had a number of cars that weren't holding their value. So they sold some. They literally gave some away.
Wow.
Charitable donations, and it was wild to me.
Yeah. This was probably after the '87 crash, like the stock market crash.
I would
around then,
imagine
and
so.
then,
Yeah. So this was
kind of
'89 or right around there, and So
that makes sense.
they just wanted to separate themselves from that.
Okay.
And so Dick allowed me to stay in that building, and I paid rent, but I didn't have to pay it every month. Okay. Wow. It was just a running tab because he had a number of cars that had to be worked on.
Sure.
So I always had something of his to work on to help pay rent.
That's amazing.
Right? It was amazing.
Wow.
Amazing. I used to go in, they would do the accounting. I would go in there and sit with his accountant. She explained how I'm doing, and the friendship and the support system I had was great. People trusted me, and I trust them, and we're still all good friends today, and they're very proud to see what really happened in the end. You know, they can't believe it.
You see your place now.
Yeah.
It's a little.
And he would
not a bowling alley there anymore.
No.
You could put a bowling alley in the back, maybe.
He would come in there. He'd walk into the shop, and he did it when I was out of his place, and he'd yell when he'd come in. He'd go, "Hey!" really loud and expect you to jump like he was still the employer.
Right.
And he would tell me, "Penske, Penske, Penske." You know, if the place was a little dirty or something like that, he would drive it into me. but that's how it worked.
Right.
That's how I learned.
Right.
And you know, I
Penske.
yeah,
That's pretty funny.
he wanted, you know,
wanted that
be
level,
professional,
yeah,
be professional,
A-class,
kid.
yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah,
amazing.
great things like that.
Okay.
So
Corporated 90.
Yeah.
You were working on the Mitsubishis at that
That's
point.
correct, yeah.
And who was driving? Did you have any corporate support or sponsors?
no,
or
Dick was driving still.
Okay.
Okay, I would say this is 89, 90.
Okay.
And so Dick was driving. He paid the bills for the car and all of that stuff. I believe the car that I really did as my own first car, complete roll cage and all of that stuff, would have been the Mitsubishi.
Got it.
Okay. And
your brothers are working with you. It's like.
my brother Colin, I believe, was there.
Okay.
We didn't join until later.
Okay.
And by that time, I think there may have been 3 of us.
Okay.
So pretty solid team, you know.
Nice.
And
I mean, still to this day, that's probably the biggest like of the top 5 rally teams. Below that is about a 3-man team, so
Yeah.
that makes sense.
so you know, we were running that car, and we got to run it, in my mind, for the day correctly.
Yeah.
You know, we did have the service van and kitted out and the correct spare parts and all of those things. He wanted it to be done nicely.
Right.
So we showed up. It was the era when, you know, Tim was running, Carl Merrill was running,
Yeah.
Cal Landau was running. There were a number of pretty good teams out there.
Yeah.
Rod Millen was running. You know, so we had good times. You
Yeah.
know, it was good competition, and it was definitely like family.
Yeah.
At those events, you
Right.
know, it was definitely like small time family.
How did you guys do? How'd you stack up competitively?
I think we were, you know, running in the top 5.
Okay.
Lower top 5. We won in 1992. We won POR. That was the first rally. He was the driver and I was the co-driver that we had ever won. So
Wow.
that was pretty wild.
Wow.
Yep. And you know, winning a rally, I was in tears.
Yeah.
Because we tried for so long.
Right.
You know, and nobody could crack the top
Right.
back then. Those days, you
It's
know.
Rod and John.
Yeah.
Was
yeah.
John running at that time?
I believe he was.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Merrill was fast, right?
Yep, Merrill was in there too.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, the top was pretty well locked out, but we
Right.
were all wrestling for what was left, you know.
Right.
And
Sounds familiar.
yeah. Yeah, so I've seen it from the other side too.
been on both ends of it.
That's why another reason why I'm so determined. But yeah, we won that rally, and yeah, it was a really momentous occasion for me.
Did you, in that time on the business side and like the family side and everything else you're balancing, were there any big ebbs and flows of like it might all go away, or
yes.
you know, is there any moments that you can specifically remember that you can share with us?
I needed some money, and I borrowed some money from a bank for 90 days, and everything was great. And then I wanted to renew the loan, you know, and make it longer.
Yeah.
And the bank was giving me a hard time.
Mm.
And so it was the same bank that we used for Vermont Sports Car restoration. So now I probably have something like a 5-year relationship with the bank.
Right.
And a new guy had taken over the account, and he was kind of a hard guy, jerk. And so anyway, I went to Dick. I said, look, I don't know how to manage this. I don't know what I'm going to do. And he said, well, sit down. We're gonna give him a call. And so I sat there. In Dick Corley's office, there was a brown bear, full stuff. It's in the sports bar at the bowling center upstairs now. Huge black bear, and he with a growl on it. And he'd sit right there every time I'd go in the office when I was working for him to
giant bears right
yeah, for a discussion, get my ass chewed. He was right there, you know. So it was kind of intimidating. But anyway, I sat in the chair and we called the bank, and like I called the bank, and the manager was going back and forth with me, and then Dick got on the phone and he said, hey, look, you're going to give this kid a chance. You know, that's what he said. You're
Wow.
going to give him a chance. He wants X amount of time, whether it was 6 months or whatever it was. He goes, if he doesn't come through, I'll come through, but you're going to let him figure this out. And
Jesus,
pretty amazing.
You've got an amazing support system.
Yeah, crazy, huh?
That is crazy.
Yeah,
good for you. So you got that figured out. When did this turn into a little bit more than the hobby, and actually either was there a corporate point in time where there was like a manufacturer support, or when did Vermont Sports Car kind of get to that next level?
Yeah, that didn't happen for another 10 years.
10 years.
Yeah.
Okay, so you were just servicing clients.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So I would do rental car programs. People would arrive. We had a gentleman from Mexico that came in. We ran his car for a season or season and a half.
Nice.
I built cars for a very wealthy Mark Suberville. He's the brother of the gentleman that started the Rally Mexico.
Patrick,
really? Yeah. Patrick and Juan Suberville. Their brother Mark. I got to. Sorry.
Oh, you're fine.
I actually sold him the car I built for Dick.
Wow.
I sold it to Mexico. Dick and I were rallying, and the car was well developed. It had a Group A gearbox and all the right diffs and all that stuff. And he flew up. He bought Tim's car first.
Really?
He bought Tim's Rally Golf, and he bought it. Then he decided he didn't want it while it was still here. And I went to Tim and I said, hey, he wants to go to a different car. And so we worked it out. Tim gave him his money back, and he ended up buying the Eclipse from me. And the Eclipse sold at that time for $126,000.
Holy smokes.
And I went to Dick. I said, Dick, I have to tell you, we were co-driving. That was my thing, right? And I said, I think you have to take the money.
Yeah.
I'm going to be out of a ride, but I think you better take the money.
Right.
And we got out of the car, and Dick got a bunch of his money back.
Wow.
It was monumental.
Wow.
Well, that car, they took it to Mexico, and it was in storage for a while. We had stopped rallying, I guess, so it was in storage, and we delivered the car down there. We sent it for transport or whatever, and they had a noise. They had a noise in the diff, and it was a locking diff, which made noise.
Right.
And they didn't trust it, so they put the spare in, and that made noise. I said, well, if it was the spare diff, there's probably no oil on it, and there's a tag on it that says no oil. No, there's not. My guys, look, there's no tag. I said, let me tell you what, there is a tag. I have a spare diff here. I'll fly to Mexico tonight with a differential in my hand, and if I'm wrong, I'll buy my ticket, and if you're right, you pay my ticket.
Smart.
I got the bag literally in a backpack with a change of clothes. I flew to Mexico. Back then they would have a red and green button. When you walk through, you'd hit a button. Uh-oh. And if it was red, you'd go to customs. If it was green, you'd go straight through. And I hit it, and it was green. So I walked straight through, and I have this military bag. This diff is 60, 70 pounds, right? And I'm trying to walk through like it's a stuffed animal in the bag. And so I go
all
jacked
over.
Up. Back then I had muscle. But anyway, so I go through there, and the guy picks me up. And Mexico was different back then, right? Or I'm sure it's real different today. But you walk through there, and he's outside in a 911. And I get in with a stiff and set it through the floor. And this guy's a rally driver. I only met him in Vermont once. Really nice guy.
Yeah.
And we set it down. It's pouring, and we're on a 3-way highway over a bridge, and we're headed to his house and his shop. And this car, he flies it off the ground between two cars on a highway. It's up in the air like that in the rain. And I was like, look, I don't need to be impressed here. I
can imagine, guys, yeah.
Yeah. So, and he was.
Got to show you how good of a driver
he was
I
a
am.
flamboyant guy, And so we went to his little shop and his garage, and it was literally one car wide. And I go down the side of the car, and I slid underneath there, and the differentials in the car, and I ripped the tag off. And I got up, I went there. Swear to God. And he bought my ticket, and we were best friends.
Oh, wow.
When I got there, his brothers, I walk in, his brother.
Well, it's a good testament to your ability to, like, you know, you're going to put your money where your mouth is.
I was trying it,
right. Yeah.
And trying to deliver. And I walked in there, so I didn't get there till like midnight. And his brother Juan was a very big man. So there's Mark, Juan, and Patrick. Now, I don't know Juan or Patrick at the time.
Yeah.
I go in there, and they're drinking tequila at night, pouring shots of tequila. And Juan is like mafia type guy, like massive. And he's like, is this a good car? I was like, yes, it's a good car. Are you sure it's a good car? And yes, it's a very nice
one
car.
Of the best.
And so he said, okay. And so they drove.
Don't lie to me.
Juan was the co-driver, and they were doing a tarmac rally with it. I was gone home. We went and did a test, and everything was fine. I went home.
Yeah.
And they did the rally a few weeks later, and they wrecked it at very high speed. They destroyed the car. And the only thing that happened, we had a pin for the plastic doors to go up and down.
Yeah.
And Juan, the pin jammed in his leg, you know,
Right.
Small puncture wound.
Yeah.
And that's the only thing that happened.
Wow.
And the car was completely destroyed.
Wow.
Well, he called up. He said, Lance, I got really bad news for you. And I thought, oh, somebody's been hurt.
Yeah.
And the bad news was the car's destroyed and it's not savable. I was like, oh, man, sorry, but you want to know the good news? No, what's the good news? I want you to build me another one.
Oh, man.
Can you imagine that? So then we did. So that was when it was like it became a business,
Right.
you know? It was
Yeah.
not just
It's
a
not
dream
a hobby
anymore.
anymore. Yeah.
So we got to
International.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. So yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it was pretty wild.
So how many cars did you end up building for him? Just one more?
That car, you know, there was an economic crisis in Mexico.
Okay.
While that car was just finished.
Yeah.
So he would make payments and I'd build it. Well, before it was finished, actually the peso crashed
Oh, no.
and he couldn't finish building the car. So I finished building the car. We were, of course, very stuck on money. It was difficult for me.
Right.
But I ended up finishing the car, and then I tried to sell it for a very long time, and I couldn't.
Ugh.
And in the end, I don't know if it was complete. I think it was complete. And we sold it very, very cheaply. And that guy, of course, I was broke, and I invested money of my own to fix it.
Right.
That guy let me keep the money.
Oh, wow.
I want to say it was $20,000
Wow.
that I kept. And he let me keep the money. And he said, Lance, you keep it.
Wow.
You keep your business going. And he was an architect, so he was doing okay.
Sure.
But he didn't have any spendable income.
Right.
You know, disposable
He didn't need
income.
it back. He just
Right.
needed to,
Right.
he
So
couldn't be paying more.
Yep. He trusted me to build the business.
Wow.
Can you imagine that?
That's amazing.
And I went back down there, you know, years later. I was like, hey, I'm doing pretty good. You want your money back? No, Lance, you're okay. I like watching what you're doing.
Wow.
Isn't that something?
That's
We went to the WRC in Mexico, and he shows up, and he was so proud. You know, the team that we had, we were there for Subaru at the time, the team that what it evolved into.
Right.
So he took joy in that.
That's amazing.
And we'd have calls late at night. I'd call him. He'd be at his office. And this is when, you know, things were bad for him and things were bad for me. And we were still friends.
Right.
And just talk about how we're going to get through all this. You know?
Huh.
Those relationships I still have.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Holy
So
smokes.
I'm a very lucky guy.
Yeah, you are.
Yeah.
How did you manage the financial position at that time? What did you do to get through that moment? Or was there another client that showed up?
We had
or?
other jobs,
Okay.
small jobs,
Yeah.
repair jobs, restoration work, you know.
Okay.
Other
Still
stuff
doing
going
restoration
on.
work
Yeah,
when
on and
to
off, yeah.
keep the bills,
Yes.
paying the
Yes,
bills.
it wasn't purely rally. I don't know when it went purely rally, but it was very late in the 90s.
Okay.
Yeah. Maybe we were still going after that even.
And are you balancing racing as well at this time? Are you, because you did co-driving quite a bit, so are you racing at the same time that you're managing the business?
Yes, but pretty selectively.
Okay.
So after Dick Corley, I co-drove for Carl Merrill.
Yeah.
So my brother built Carl Merrill's car.
Okay.
So He was over in Maine. He left
For Carl, not through Vermont
Correct.
Sports Car. Okay,
Correct.
interesting.
He left. He was with VSC for a little while.
Yep.
Moved back from California, joined VSC, and we were helping Carl at events or whatever, just fooling around. And I wasn't co-driving for Carl yet. And then Dick was running on and off. Ouija went over to build Carl's last Escort. Okay. So he built the car. And it took a while. They were running another Escort, and Ouija got bought a shell that was caged and all of these things. Bought it from M Sport, flew over there. I went to visit him. I went with him to M Sport one time. This was when M Sport just got the WRC program.
Wow.
They were at Malcolm's house and his barn.
Wow.
So he wasn't in the big building that they were. None of that. I got to go to like the things were being moved out of Ford Borum. So I went there when it was a factory rally team. And got moved out there. And so yeah, that was really cool. And anyway, it came to crunch time to get the car finished. And basically we moved the staff of Vermont Sports Car to Carl's shop, which is bigger and nicer than ours, to Carl's shop. And we helped Ouija for about a week, maybe 10 days, to get the car done, to get to a race.
Wow.
And in the transition of all that, Carl said, Lance, how would you like to co-drive for me? So I go over there, and there's a driving suit with my name on it, with a big Ford oval on it. Brand new sparkle suit. They matched. Our suits matched. So,
my God.
you're
a WRC champion in your own mind.
Yeah. I was on the moon. Could you see that? And that car zipped.
I bet.
It in the day, man, that car really zipped. And being with Carl, I got a business education as a co-driver.
Yeah.
We would talk about amazing stuff.
Yeah.
So then I had so those were my mentors. All these people from Tivy, Dick, Angelo, Carl,
Wow.
the gentleman in Mexico. All these guys are mentors of mine on business.
Right.
So I didn't go to college, but I got a great education.
Yeah. No, that's amazing.
So yeah, great friends of mine.
That's amazing.
And really wild times.
What's home life like at this point? Are you your son's out of?
Yeah, my son lives in North Dakota.
Okay.
He's a consultant for the oil industry out there. He has 4 kids of his own. He's 40 years old.
Okay.
And he has his own life. I get to see him once or twice a year, full on.
Yeah.
At home, I married Carolyn Bosley years ago, and she has 2 children. So we have 3 between us.
Nice.
And my home is very motorsports oriented right now. So work really never ends for me. So we talk about it at work. Connor Martell drives now. He's a very good driver. We did rallycross. Well, first he did motorcycles. They moved to Georgia, where he moved full time to Loretta Lynn's and stayed there, I think 3 years, trained and did some motorcycles, won a U.S. national, did some good things, got busted all up.
Sure.
And then we put him in rallycross cars. But anyway, at home, it's just Carolyn and I. Connor lives with some friends of his.
Nice.
And we talk about rallying too much.
That's not a bad thing for where you're at
No,
in
it's
life.
not bad. But sometimes you need a little break. But yeah, my wife is more competitive than I am, and more passion. Like when Connor started to drive, the switch went back on in my house.
Right.
And I'm like,
You were kind of getting ready to retire.
yeah, I'm like, oh, watch what you wish for. and now it's like that's what we do.
Right.
And it's good. I'm re-energized. It's good.
Not to brag on Carolyn's behalf, but the one thing I know about her, she got to sit with Connor or Colin
McRae. Yes.
So that's such an amazing,
pretty wild.
Yeah. Opportunity that she got to sit with him and do that.
You want to hear the Colin story?
Yeah, let's hear it.
So we were doing multiple things so now we've.
This is a big jump forward in time.
Oh yeah, do you want to go?
Yeah, let's do that. And then we'll get to the So let's move us forward now to what was your first corporate sponsorship?
Well, the first corporate sponsorship I got was in 1991 for the Mount Washington Hill Climb. I was driving the Celica ST-165.
Okay.
All track, they would call it. And I got $600 from, I think it's Capital City, in the dealership in the town. Yeah, $600. I painted the whole hood for them.
What is that? What they wanted? Just branding on the car.
Branding on the car.
Nice.
I went to the dealership and talked to them. Had the car there, and then brought it up. Yeah,
Nice.
yeah.
Perfect.
So when they restarted the hill, I think I was there the second year, maybe the first year when they restarted the hill.
I think 90 was the year Tim set the record, so it must have been 90.
So maybe it was that year.
Okay.
But yeah, so that was my first corporate money right there. Yeah.
When did it turn into like an actual OEM partnership?
Oh, another 11 years after that.
Yeah. And who was that? Was that
Subaru?
That was Subaru.
Yes,
okay.
Correct.
How did that come about? Where did that?
Yeah.
Is that just you picked up the phone the right day, or
no?
How did you get that?
So through the grapevine, we knew Subaru was coming to look at rally. They had been in rally in the early 90s with Chad DeMarco.
Okay.
Chad had a beautiful car. He was a great driver, good personality. But Subaru at the time had tough finances, so they stopped rallying.
Oh,
okay. So when they came back to rallying, and Chad DeMarco had stopped too.
Yeah.
So when they came back to rallying through the grapevine, you're like, oh, the rumor was this is.
And they're WRC at that point.
Yes.
Subaru had a WRC program.
They did.
Right.
And so the rumor is, we had the 2.5 RS in the U.S.
Right.
And that we were going to get a WRX. In theory, the U.S. would get a turbo car. The Legacy turbo was around, but not the body shape was not the right one at the time.
Yeah, you didn't have the WRX and the 2.5 RS body.
Correct.
In the U.S.
Right. So I was running at the time. 2.5 RS that we created into a WRX, right? Okay. So I bought a Japanese car, stripped all the parts, brought them to the U.S. and made it. I also, I'm skipping a phase. If I go back,
it's okay.
I'll step back a couple of years. Somebody came to buy my business, and I think it was in 1997, 96, 97.
Okay.
This gentleman's name was Tim Driegert. From Texas, wanted to be a rally driver. He started a company called Generation Performance. This was just as the start of the tuning phase, right?
Oh,
Tuners,
right.
Where you do the group buys, and all of that. So he moved. He bought VSC. I sold it.
Really?
Yeah. So I sold it, and
wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I bought it with the agreement was that he had to keep us racing for 5 years.
Okay.
Keep us in motorsports for 5 years.
Okay.
And if he failed, I got the tools and equipment back. Right? So I took what I thought was a lot of money at the time, which was a very low price.
Sure.
And
would you share that with us?
I think it was in the $160,000 range.
Okay.
Right? And so I know I paid my bills off and I had 120.
Yeah, perfect.
Amazing.
Right. Yeah.
Right? Amazing.
You're
Home
rich.
run. I'm done. Yeah, this is it.
And, wait, I sold the Mitsubishi for 127, so I still can't buy a really cool rally car.
That wasn't mine. That was Dick's.
But you still can't buy a really cool rally car with 120.
No, but I can pay my bills. And so anyway, he bought the business. It lasted about a year.
Okay.
And on the same weekend, I was co-driving for Carl. Driegert was running a Galant VR4, a bright yellow one that we were maintaining for him. So that was part of the business. He wanted VSC or Vermont Sports Car at the time. He wanted that as the halo to Generation Performance.
Oh, I see.
Okay, he was sponsoring commercials on ESPN.
Holy smokes.
For Generation Performance. I mean, this kid was spending some real money. We were in 18,000 square feet over in Williston.
Holy
we moved
smokes.
away from Dick's building. Epoxy floors and racks with all sorts of parts. I flew to Japan with him for the Tokyo Auto Salon, Lars, myself, and him, to buy parts.
Holy smokes.
It was a dream
Right.
for us. Like, wow, this thing's going to fly.
Right.
Anyway, he spent a bunch of money The weekend I was co-driving for Carl Merrill, and he passed away. We were at Prescott, Arizona.
Okay.
And Carl had a heart attack in the car.
Right.
We hit a tree.
Right.
While on stage.
Right.
The car caught on fire. We had to take Carl out of the car. We had to medevac him to a hospital. He had a massive heart attack.
Right.
That's what caused us the crash.
Right.
And
he passed away.
He passed away the next morning.
Right.
And
but so did your partner?
My
or the
partner was
guy
at
who bought
home.
Who bought the business?
Yes, he was at home.
Okay.
His father flew in the night we had the accident.
Okay.
That day, he told the kid to close the business.
Wow.
And move everything out of state. His dad was a lawyer from Texas.
Oh.
Very powerful lawyer.
Too big a risk, he thought.
You spent enough money.
Right.
We did what we needed to do. We can't continue. Stop.
Yeah.
Move everything out of state.
Wow.
So
what
they
a
brought
crazy
it.
48 hours. For
Yes.
You. Holy shit.
I didn't know it till I was riding home with my brother in the truck when I got the call. And we drove by with Carl's damaged car on the trailer past, we had to go the next morning, past the Park Expose to go home.
Ugh.
And I rode with my brother. I had a flight, but I rode with my brother because I was like, there's
Yeah.
freaking way he can do this on his own.
Yeah.
So sad.
Yeah.
Devastated. Carl was his best friend.
Oh, really?
You know? Oh, yeah. They were tight.
Okay.
And my brother, Ouija, did 18 events a year. He was the only mechanic, and he was the truck driver.
Wow.
With a Group A / WRC escort. Think about it.
Right. One
Think
crew, top level.
We do
rally
the U.S. Canadian events, the U.S. Championship and the American Championship with one guy.
Right.
Anyway,
Oh,
so he worked his ass off for that job.
Yeah.
And we were all tight. We were like family.
I mean,
you know.
It's still a community. Is that
Yeah,
way?
we've been through a lot together, all of us.
Yeah.
So anyway, Carl passed, very difficult. I'm on the way home. I get a phone call from Lars, and he says, Lance, they're trying to shut the business and they're stealing the stuff. And of course, Eugene Van Steenberg, Lars Gange was a business guy, photographer for me for many years, still works as a consultant for VSC now. And Eugene Van Steenberg was one of my best friends and a mechanic. And Eugene says, Lance, I'm going to just slice all the tires in the yard. None of this stuff is going anywhere. And I had to talk him down. I said, Eugene, you can't do that, bud. This is a legal thing. Don't worry.
Yeah.
Like, my mind was messed up, right?
You're not a great spot.
Yeah, not a great spot. And the guy, 1 year into the deal, the guy's closing the deal, and the stuff is supposed to be mine. They moved one truck and trailer out to New Hampshire, and the building was still full of some other tools of mine. I called my lawyer, basically got him out of bed, woke him up. I had my brother, I said, I'm sorry, Ouija, you got to drop me off at the airport. So we found a place. I bought a ticket. He dropped me off at one of the major airports. I flew to Vermont. I got there about 5 p.m. that night.
Yeah.
I go to the building. There's the biggest sheriff in Vermont there, and my lawyer, and maybe some other sheriffs. My lawyer is in his shorts. He just got done playing tennis. Now, he's a big man, too. And they're there, and they've shut Driegert down. He's probably in his early 20s at that time, UVM student, and he's there in tears. And I am so mad. My whole team is mad.
You
right?
just dealt with some.
Yeah, it's a pretty bad move, right? He probably didn't know Carl had the accident.
Sure.
But the timing was awful.
Yeah.
So anyway, I go in there and I'm pretty pissed off. And the sheriff did everything. He's still a sheriff today. Amazing job. And he said, I'm sorry, Mr. Driegert, we're going to lock this down until we find out what legally is going to happen.
Right.
And in the end, it was a few months fight. In the end, I got what was left of my tools. They got all of the inventory.
Yeah.
I believe the cars and all of that stuff. And I got all my hand tools
Just
back.
1 year.
Yep.
Oh man.
And I
That's crazy
had
how
to pay
fast-
$30,000 to get VSC the name back.
Yeah.
Because I didn't want anybody to destroy it.
Yeah.
I didn't know. We shut the doors. I went home,
Right.
and we shut the doors. And it was Colin and Eugene and Lars, and I don't know if there's anybody else there, but I said, you guys, you got to go home. I have to reset. I have no idea what I'm going to do.
Right.
And I went home and sat at the table, and I called my dad, and I said, Dad, I have enough money. I can go back to school, because my dad was always upset I didn't go to college.
Right.
So I can go back to school, or I can pay my house off, and then I'm okay, and I can manage. And he said to me, he said, Lance, you've already been through school. He said, you've been through the school of hard knocks. Pull your fucking boots up and get on with it.
Nice.
Build race cars. Do what you do.
That's so cool.
Yeah, pretty wild. That was like not forgiveness, but acceptance of me
Your
following
position.
my path.
Right.
When I wanted to go on my own and do race cars and stuff, my dad and my brother Ouija had a toe-to-toe yelling match because I didn't want to follow the family business, right? That he bought for us kids.
Right.
And it didn't work in the end. Nobody wanted to do service work. We were
Right.
all doing different stuff.
Right.
And so they went toe-to-toe on it, and I went my way, and he was not happy.
Yeah.
Before he passed, he was very happy. He saw all the success. But anyway, at the time, I had uncle pass away, and our uncle left all of his niece. He didn't have any children, so he left all of his nieces and nephews $30,000 apiece. Huge amount of money.
Right.
So I sat.
Especially when you weren't expecting it. I'm
Right,
sure.
right. So I sat at the kitchen table. I had nothing but hand tools. And I sat at the kitchen table and had the conversation with my dad one day. The next day, I believe, I sat there. I got every credit card out that I had, right? I called over to England. I bought a Group N car, a new car, Evo 5, brand new.
Wow.
And I maxed out every single credit card I had. And I was going to build a Group N car, brand new. I went back to Dick Corley's building,
Yeah.
and I said, Dick, I got a problem. The guy's just closed, and I need a place to work. Well, the place is still empty. You got a key? Yeah, I got a key. I went unlocked. He was in Florida. I went unlocked the building, and boys, we're moving in. So we moved back in there. And I flew to England, took the car apart, sent it home in pieces.
Yeah.
And back then, you could legally register a car in Vermont. They would give you a VIN number if you could show a receipt for all of the parts.
Right.
And I had a receipt.
Right.
And that car had a U.S. legal VIN number.
Wow.
Or a VIN, as my guys would say. It's not VIN number. But anyway, so I did that. I laid it all on the table, and we built that car, and then we ended up doing a WRX, the thing, and I had two branded cars. They had the blue, VSC had a blue splash, right? And so they both had the same graphics.
Nice.
Right. And
Mitsubishi versus Subaru, especially those days.
well, that was in Europe. We didn't really have
didn't
it
have
here.
that here?
No,
Okay.
not yet.
All right.
And so the Group N car, I thought, wow, the performance of this is unbelievable, right? It's going to be a great car. And I wanted to prove, which is kind of the same situation today, I wanted to show that you could have really good performance with a reasonable price.
Okay.
So I brought the Group N car to see where it would fit in overall.
Sure.
Right? And we did that.
Who drove?
For me, there was one event that I would rent it out. But one event that I did that I wanted to do is I did POR with John Buffum in his Elantra.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
And John and I won the event. John won the event, and I rode with him.
Sure.
And we came into the bank in Houghton. We came into the bank, and the control wasn't up. The finish control wasn't up there. And
you guys are so early.
So I don't know. They were not organized.
Sure.
I don't know.
Yeah.
And we pull into the bank, and of course, Mr. Buffum at the last service, a brown bag comes in there and gets put in the back of the car, and you get there. The event is over, and you get out. And him and I are sitting on the brick wall. And him and I are sitting there, and we open the brown bag, and there's 2 Budweisers in there. So John and I each crack a Budweiser, and I said, John, it's a good thing we do this for us. And he goes, yeah, Lance, like that. Pretty cool, huh?
That's
Nobody
so awesome.
else around.
Yeah.
So the next weekend, we go to Beta Schlur, Tall Pines. I don't know what the next one is.
Okay.
What's the next?
Tall Pines probably in end of the season.
Yes,
Yeah.
end of the season.
Tall Pines.
So very week later,
Yeah.
very close, right?
Yeah.
We're taking my brand new Evo 5.
Okay.
So to give you an idea on the Elantra, we were nursing that thing. It was blowing oil, and it was head gasket was going. We had a big 2-liter water bottle between my legs, and it was bubbling, and I would watch it and make sure it didn't get too full, and we'd add water at the next service and all that. So it was wild.
Yeah.
And then we get into the Evo 5, brand new Group N car, and I said, John, I want to see how this goes. And it had Olin suspension on it, right? At that time, that was like state of the art.
Right.
So we're fighting
to this
against Frank Sprongel
Okay.
and Dan.
Right.
And he has a, what do you call it? Audi Coupe Quattro?
Oh, yeah.
It was a newer shape one.
Yeah.
And but all the same running gear as the earlier one, big, powerful car. And John and I are trading times with him.
Wow.
Right? Back and forth with a Group N car. And I'll tell you, John Buffum can drive. There is no question about it, right? And we're going into one of the stages, and it's spit and snow, snowy, muddy, crappy weather, and real rough.
Yeah.
And we go in there, and we're going around one of the corners, and John, he almost lost it. It went really wide, and he was pushing. And he thought we were headed off. He goes, no, I got it. Nope, no, I don't. Yep, I do. And we go around like that. And we go through the corner, and he was full on. And at the end, he goes, Lance, we got him. And that's where we got him. We're going to win. And we won the frickin' rally.
Holy smokes.
Yeah, so that car debuted the first event and won the rally.
Wow.
Yeah, I took it to a rally school. Which we didn't do well at all, but that was not official rally. I had to get a professional driver. So anyway, that was a Group N car. So I had both of those, and I would lease them out.
Wow.
And we went to STPR, I believe.
And there was enough clients in the world at that time that there were
yeah,
people willing to pay
Irish
for it?
guys were renting cars, and,
Yeah.
and we had people come in. Some American guys came in and drove, and it was really, really good. The people around would try the car because it was the latest. So certain people would rent the car, and it was getting some use.
Yeah.
So at STPR, we heard that somebody from Subaru was going to come and visit, right? So those cars were branded. They looked professional, and we were there. I had a service truck. I also bought a service truck, right, which is a brand new Ford.
Okay. So this is early 2000s at this point.
I would say 2000.
Okay, 2000.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And here's a good story. I bought a Ford E450. No box on it.
Okay.
Bank said, yes, Lance, you're approved. And went to the dealer to pick it up, and Bank says, no, Lance, you're not approved. So I financed it through Ford in about 20 minutes. Walked out of there. I don't have any money without a loan to put a box on here. So anyway, I went down in Giroux's Body Shop, our extended friends of mine, our cousins of mine.
Okay.
And they helped me get a box on it and do the sides and all that stuff, and I would make payments for that to them. Yeah, it was awesome. So
you've got a nice looking rig.
I got a
in
plain
Pennsylvania.
white, no
Yeah.
graphics, plain white, and I go there.
But it's new.
It's
and
new.
It's not,
yeah, sharp. And so the gentleman from Subaru was here and rumored around, and he's not wearing any Subaru gear. But anyway, I got to meet him. and I get him in the back of my service truck, which literally had boxes. It wasn't set up yet.
Yeah.
Right? It was new, but it wasn't set up. And I had the opportunity to explain to him what I thought rally could do for Subaru. And the young kids and the the demographics that we're going to go after, or that I wanted to go after. The video game thing was happening. The internet was happening, right? Just infancy here.
Right.
And, it was just like, I think they're going to catch on to it. And it's cool. It's not the old motorsports and all that. And that gentleman, his name was Jeff Walters. Jeff Walters today is the president of Subaru of America.
Wow.
He was a middle manager at the time and became motorsports manager.
Okay.
Right? But we connected.
Wow.
And he believed in it. And I didn't get the job for Subaru. I did not. That job was given to ProDrive.
Oh.
Okay.
Right.
ProDrive came over and it was their program. But Subaru of America asked me to be the base, provide the workshop, supply the equipment, which they leased from me, and provide half the technicians.
Wow.
So ProDrive used my workshop with our people. We managed the program as far as logistics, Lars and I, and flights and hotels and all of that. But they would fly in with a team manager and engineers, and they would run it. So we got to work with them for a year, and it was beautiful. It was great. We learned so much.
Yeah.
I learned
ProDrive.
Yeah, I learned what to do and what not to do.
Yeah.
And
because they were running the WRC program for
yes,
Subaru.
they did.
So.
Yes. So they came in. Our first event was at Snowdrift, and we had Group N cars. Two-door GC8 cars before they delivered a new car that was built.
Yeah.
And we debuted the first Group N WRX in America. Carl Scheibel got to drive that. Wow. He was another guy that rented the car from me. He rented for a whole season.
Wow.
Carl Merrill, the Evo 5.
Wow.
And Carl Scheibel, sorry. And he finished second in the championship, I think, that year.
Holy smokes.
Won the Group N championship, yeah. So that was good. So we got the opportunity there. We worked with ProDrive. ProDrive eventually moved in 2002. They wanted to go to Michigan and somewhere outside of Dearborn. And I went out to Dearborn and I looked at it, and it wasn't Dearborn, but a side town. And I flew out there and I looked. I had a small 3-bedroom house on 2 acres. I flew out there. I studied it, what it cost to have the same house, a pound of steak, a gallon of milk, bread, and all that. I did a calculation and I said, well, this is what I'm going to need to have the same level of life out there. And they said, no, we're not going to pay that. I said, okay, we're not going. No problem.
Right.
So we stayed in Vermont. We were independent. We ran Raman Lagaman in a GC8 Subaru after that.
Yeah.
And we competed against them. And then in 2003. 2003. It's only one rally, remember? It started years ago. But 2003, we were asked to support a Mitsubishi program. So again, they used my workshop. We leased them equipment. We actually got support from Fuso. We got Fuso trucks. I got the support from Fuso for them. And we ended up building another rally team that was at the same level as ProDrive very quickly. David Higgins drove for us.
Yeah.
And in 2023, we won the championship ourselves. And, that was a tragic year in motorsports.
Yeah.
Mark Lovell had passed.
Right.
Both the
2003,
Yeah, the Mitsubishi program went sour. That was they had a falling out with the team that was running it at the time, and it was.
Oh, and then SCCA backed out too because of all
same
this.
time.
Yeah.
And David Higgins and I in the Mitsubishi days. So we were, the team was falling apart basically, and bills weren't being paid, and it was difficult. And we went to Lake Superior, and I knew it was going to go bad. So they're out running the rally. I go to see the local sheriff, and I say, I got a problem. He says, Lance, you got to go see a lawyer. So I went to a lawyer. A lawyer wrote something up. The sheriff got it. The sheriff said, I don't know if this is legal or not, but we'll support you. I went to the organizers, and I said, hey, these guys are going to try to steal these cars, and they owe me a lot of money.
Holy smokes.
Yep. I'd like you to have a park for me.
Right.
Can you just do me a favor and have a park for me and release the cars in the morning while I work this out? And they said, sure, Lance, no problem.
Wow.
So they locked the cars down because, you know, the first thing everybody wants to do at the end of the season is go to a party, right? Celebrate, get the championship, do all that stuff. So while everybody was doing that, that's when I was at the lawyers and got the sheriff and all that. And the cars were going to be released at 7. And I don't know if this can be said or not, but the rally community at the time and the organizers stood behind me very strongly and supported me. Wow. And we loaded the equipment before it was to be released. And my guys drove out of the state, went to Wisconsin because that was the quickest way to get out of the state.
Holy smokes.
Yep. And then they drove around and got back home.
I think 2003. I think we're okay as far as the timeline.
Yeah, it was pretty rocky then. In the end, I would say we probably got part of our money back. They got all the cars and equipment, all the stuff they paid for, they got back.
Sure. You just didn't want them to take it without any leverage.
That's right.
Needed a little bit of leverage.
We ended up, Mitsubishi Fuso Corporation was so good to us. We leased the trucks from them, but they paid for the lease. And they told us we could keep the trucks till the lease was paid up.
Wow.
Right? To the time ran out. We will keep that going, Lance. So we had the equipment. That was awesome. Right? And David Higgins and I flew to Las Vegas, and we met with the head of Mitsubishi Motorsports at the time. His name was Sven Quant. And he ran their off-road program in Dakar and all those things. And he was the Mitsubishi Motorsport. So David and I were in a room for 8 hours discussing rallying and all of that. And David and I shook hands on a 5-year deal with Mitsubishi.
Holy smokes.
Unbelievable, right? We're ready to go. We're going to have new cars or whatever. And if you remember at the end of 2003...
2003.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, okay.
2003. Derek Dauncey was sent by Mitsubishi to keep a look at this program because it was going south.
Oh, okay.
Derek and I had only loosely knew each other before, but we became very good friends because I was telling him, I was honest and like, look, I'm not liking what's happening.
Yeah.
You know. Anyway, Derek wasn't involved at that time, but he helped us to get the meeting, and we shook hands. David was going to drive. We were going to have a factory program. This is great. 2 weeks later, of course, David and I celebrated like nobody's business.
You're in Vegas.
In Vegas that night. Yeah, that was pretty wild. And
that's a different podcast. We'll go.
To tell you, Red Bull and vodka was very new back then.
Yeah.
So anyway. So we go back home. 2 weeks later, I get a letter in the mail that says, we're not doing it.
What?
Yeah. And, you know, that was a time Mitsubishi had financial issues and credit things. They had leased a bunch of cars. They had 0, 0, 0. And, you know, that 0 down, 0% interest, and 0 payments for 3 years or something like that. And it bit them.
Yeah.
Nobody was paying for the cars. So anyway, that deal
Zero people paid.
Deal was closed.
Oh man.
So this is beginning of 2004 now.
Yeah.
Right. And Subaru of America called, and they said, Lance, we got a lot of Subarus running now. We would like you to deliver parts around the U.S. for the competitors.
Oh. Interesting.
Would you be interested to do that? I said, sure. I had nothing.
Right.
So
well, and Rally at that point.
Yep.
Did you even know if Rally America was gonna You were you working on the Rally America thing?
No,
Okay.
because I was too busy trying to save my own ship.
Okay.
Right? So my brother and I drove to the Detroit Auto Show to meet James Hahn.
Okay.
Okay? He was the motorsports manager at the time.
Yep.
The deal was I was going to drive to it took us 9 hours or more than 9 hours to get through Buffalo or something. It was a snowstorm and there was a 2-track road. He had a Quattro, so I asked him to drive me there. So he drove us there. We couldn't pass anybody. The snow was so deep. You got in a train and you just kept going. Longest trip of my life. And anyway, so we go there, James and I don't know if I'm going to get a deal, but it sounds like I might get a deal. So anyway, we spend the day walking around talking to each other. And in the end, a number of days later, we got a deal for $50,000. I was going to drive a truck and trailer around the U.S., a truck around the U.S. and deliver parts. It was such a great program. So VSE was paid to deliver the parts.
Yeah.
We didn't make any money on the parts.
Okay.
The local dealer made the profit on the parts, but the competitor got to buy the parts at like a 20% discount.
Wow.
So the dealer wasn't making much money, but they made some money.
And they didn't have to deal with the delivery.
They didn't deal with the delivery.
Yeah.
And Subaru of America paid the tax in each of the states. I didn't have anything to do other than paperwork with what we had and what we sold and who it got sold to.
Wow.
Right? It was management free. I got to drive a truck.
Wow.
And I drove it because it was at the time where those Fuzos were just under CDL.
Yeah.
Fuso allowed me to keep the truck.
So you're using Fuso trucks to deliver Subaru parts.
Yes.
And Rally is in this total flux of what the hell is the sport going to even be at the time?
So that program is called
that's crazy.
Subaru Rally Support or something like that.
Yeah.
And so we had a different logo on the car. If you look at old pictures, it's a logo that Chris Yandel created. And, it looked very professional.
Yeah.
Well, as part of the deal, I negotiated with Subaru. I said, look, I'm going to these events anyway.
Right. Might as well have a car.
Yeah. Can you let me put a trailer on the back at no charge to me? I will service one car.
Yeah.
And I'll deal with all the parts delivery. They said, sure, Lance, no problem. So on the back of the trailer, I think at the time I didn't have a car because things were being sold off. The first car that I did was I rented a silver Subaru we had built for other competitor. I rented it back and I put Travis Pastrana in it for snowdrift.
Okay.
And that was our first thing with Travis.
Okay.
Yep.
How did you meet him or interact with him? How did that relationship start?
In 2023.
2003.
Sorry, Jesus.
That's all right. At least you're consistent. I love it.
Yeah, but that's a sign, So in 2003, for Mitsubishi, I put on a display. This is VSC. This is not Cord Sport. I put on a display. We were doing Pikes Peak, and the Evo 7 was just hitting the United States, right? So I wanted to put on a display, a marketing display for Mitsubishi.
Yeah.
So we're doing Pikes Peak, and they have a big party week around that.
Yes.
And they close a street, and they have a big bands and party and all that stuff. So we put Mitsubishi didn't have any cars, so I bought 2 cars, right?
Wow.
And put 2 street cars in the street and a rally car in the middle. And I hired Carrie Hart and the Metal Militia to do a freestyle demonstration over these cars in the main street.
Yeah.
Right? And so they came out. The demonstration, it was huge money at the time. It was $15,000.
Wow. Holy smokes.
Well, I didn't have $15,000. So I said, look, I called my buddy Tim O'Neill. I need a favor. What's a favor, Lance? I said, I want to entice this guy to do this demonstration, and so I need a rally school. I need to give away a rally school. Can I do that? Sure, Lance, no problem. So I gave them, Metal Militia, I gave them $7,500 and a rally school at Tim's.
Cool.
All right. So,
That's so cool.
yeah, so amazing, right? So there was a bar in the center of town. It was night off for everybody. So I rented out for nothing. I rented out the top bar, which had a deck, and they were doing backflips at the level of the deck.
Right.
So I put our whole team up there.
That's amazing.
Right. Everybody was up there. My son was living in Colorado at the time, so he's I don't know how old he was, probably, 15, and. So he came out, and Carrie Hart was, I believe, dating at the time Pink.
Okay.
So on the radio, they had Pink sightings in town.
Oh, my
I didn't
gosh.
even know who Pink was.
Sure.
Right? Like,
Not your thing.
I'm
You're not
a country guy,
You're
right?
not a pop culture
No.
icon, dude.
so we're fooling around, and the cars are jumping. I'm looking for my son. I call him up on the phone. I said, Justin, where are you? And he answers the phone. He goes, up on the deck. I'm hanging out with Pink. And I look up, and there he is standing next to Pink. And there's not too many people around, and they're watching the motorcycles going around. Who gets to do that?
Holy shit.
Amazing, right? Amazing. And so that was a very good thing.
Right.
So it comes time to pay the debt. Okay? So we're dealing with Steve Astafin, and Carrie Hart is going to be up in 3 days or so to come to New Hampshire for the rally school.
Yeah.
So just before the rally school, Carrie Hart has to bail off a bike because a rider crashed in front of him in one of his demonstrations, and he breaks both of his legs. Yeah. So we are on, everything is set. I brought David Higgins over from England to be the instructor,
Right.
and the car was there, and I had
Because it was not in the Team O'Neill cars. It was in your car.
correct. I brought a Subaru,
Right.
the Subaru branded car,
Right.
and I brought the Evo 5 branded car with the
Right.
blue splash.
Right.
And I was in the photos. You'll see it was the end of the season or something like that. But I was still in a Mitsubishi team shirt.
Wow.
The earliest photos of Travis and I had a Mitsubishi thing going, and so Chris Yandell and I are talking, and he said, "Oh, Carrie's hurt. They're going to send an alternative." I said, "What are you doing?" I said, "I don't want to give an alternative
Right.
rally
That's-
school. I owe Carrie Hart. That's who I did the deal with."
Right.
Well, Steve Astafin says it's fine, and this guy will come. Who's the guy?
Right.
And he's like, "Oh, his name is Travis Pastrana." And I was like, "Who's Travis Pastrana?"
Right.
And he said, "Lance, if you remember an article a while ago, a kid did a rally school with ProDrive where he got to try a WRC car, and he did that backflip over a WRC car. Did you see the photo?" I don't remember. So he shows me. Yeah, okay, I understand.
Yeah.
Hear the story again. Travis roosted the Comet, they called it, over at Sweetland where we did just some
Right.
testing. And he roosted the brand new Comet, which was their motorhome, and he chipped it all up with paint. So they weren't happy with him. But anyway, so Chris explains to me, we're on the drive over, who he is, and Travis flies in. And David Higgins is an instructor. And that's at the time when your building was only the little log cabin,
Right. Yeah.
right? The very little log cabin.
Yeah.
So we give the rally school, and we're there, and I'm just talking to him about the car and all that. And he drives. David Higgins is in the car. And after the first run with Travis on your stage roads,
Right.
David Higgins gets out of the car, and they're talking and all that, and then they're looking at the car and doing something. David Higgins waves me over, gives me the finger, waves me over, and he knew we had nothing going on. And he said, "Lance, if you're going to spend your own money, spend it on him."
Hmm.
That's David Higgins,
Wow.
national champion,
Right.
without a drive.
Right.
And he says, "Spend your money on him."
Right.
Look at the people I get to surround myself with. You know
Wow.
what I mean? These are huge, authentic, genuine folks.
Right.
And
Is this the trip when Ken came too?
no.
Okay, so this was before
pre-Ken.
Okay.
Yeah. So so that's how we got a relationship with Travis. At the end of the weekend, we hit it off. We got along well. We had a great talk. He was a kid, right?
Yeah.
Young.
Right.
And Travis and I talked in the log cabin, and I said, "Here, I got a deal for you." And I said, he wanted to go rallying. I said, you want to go rallying, you don't have any money, and you have fans. I want to go rallying. I have a car, no money, and no fans. If you give me the fans, I'll give you the car, and together we'll find the money. And that's been the deal for 25 years. That's true. That's it.
That's amazing.
And we have done so many things together on that agreement over the years. We've become very good friends. At times we're at odds, but good friends. Sure. And, I have great trust in him, and I think he's had trust in us over the years. What David Higgins did that day, changed my life.
Right.
And, we all worked very well together. Right. David, Travis, and I, and everybody in the sport works as a team. So we gave him the test, and then we put him on the back of that Subaru truck. I rented a car from a friend of mine, that silver car. Yeah. And then we started rallying. This was 2004. Right. Right? Yeah. And partway through that year, Travis moved from Puma to DC shoes. Yeah, I'm guessing it's 2004.
It has to be.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so he's doing a contract at DC Shoes. The phone rings. He's in Ken's office, right?
Travis is in Ken's office.
Yep. And he said, "Hey, Lance, I'm just signing for DC Shoes." Okay. I have no idea who they are. And he says, I want you to meet this guy. His name's Ken Block. He wants to get into rallying. I said, okay. No idea who he is. So he hands the phone over, and Ken says, "Hi, I'm Lance. I really want to learn how to rally. I have GTI in the past." Well, I had GTIs, Yeah. And we start talking for 15 minutes. And I said, "Yep, I can handle it. No problem. Just I'll call you back, in a week or so, or whenever you're free. Give me a call." So we hung the phone up. A week later, he calls back, and he says, "Lance, what do I need to get into rallying?" I said, "Well, first, you really need a street car. And you need a street car. You should have a Subaru. And you need a street car that's set up to drive, to work correctly," right? He said, "Okay, can you get me one?" "Sure." So we bought a brand new STI for him. We put different suspension on it, different brakes on it, smaller brakes, gravel wheels, right? Yeah. And at that time, snow tires. Right. I drove it basically nonstop from Vermont to Salt Lake City, Utah. Yeah. I picked Chris Yandel up at the airport. He flew in. We drove up to the Mountain Lab, and that's the first time I got to meet Ken Block in person. Wow. We go to the Mountain Lab. It's pretty late at night. It was in the dark anyways. And we're talking. We're having a great time. We're all getting along. Chris Yandel and Ken Block are playing driving video games with the controllers. I can't do that. I'm a wheel guy. Right. Barely can do that. And anyway, it's getting late at night, and they're playing with these things. And I had to check out. And guys, I got to go to bed. I just got done this long drive, and I probably slept in the car on the way out, so it wasn't nonstop. But anyway, I got it out. I got the car there. We drove around a little bit. Then they played video games, and I checked out. Went to bed. So the next day we talked about how we were going to do it, and we ended up building him a car, and he ended up leasing the car or bought the car. I'm not sure, but that's when we had. That evolved into early 25, right? And that's when he had the white camo car. Yeah, do you remember that?
Oh yeah,
yeah,
definitely. So we've got the poster on the wall when he signed it when he came, and
yes,
all that.
And again, this period of time was we were running Travis. It was a blue car, but it was blue camo. And we were running it in, I believe it was blue camo. We were running it in Steamboat Springs.
I was wondering if you were going to talk about this.
Steamboat Springs, yeah. So I'm with James Hahn. It's a parts delivery job, right? And we're running this this car, and now we got Ken running, so we're starting to grow.
Right.
Well, maybe Ken wasn't there, but it's starting to grow. And James Honner and I are standing on this viewing area, and Travis is coming down the road, and it comes around a corner, and it goes down by us, and it's got a little kink, and it goes off, a ways. We can see it.
Right.
And he comes around the corner, and the dirt trail is, and I go, oh shit, that's fast.
Yeah.
And he comes around the corner, he passes us. We can just see the tail of the car, and that's when he clips the culvert.
Okay.
The culvert, he rolls the car, I think it's 7 times.
Right.
The car blows apart,
Right.
wheel and tire goes.
Almost hits that photographer.
Yeah, almost hits the photographer. They're
Right.
running away from it.
Right.
And I'm like, oh shit, here we go again. So that car was $175,000 to build. And we pick up the pieces. There's great photos of Travis and I looking at the wreckage. And of course my head's down, and I'm like, oh shit. And of course, famous Travis, he's so sorry, and he means it.
No, right.
He takes it 100% his fault. I should have known he was clueless at the time.
Sure.
He was very fast, but he didn't really know everything,
Right.
And we should have progressed a little slower than that. But anyway, we get back to the service area, and the car's on a trailer. It's all wrapped up, and I'm in shock because, thankfully Subaru's paying to get us home. And literally, that was the last money we had. And when we were shown in the truck, when we were shown the footage, right, the camera angles, we had a camera on top of the car, we had a camera behind him, and there was a camera straight in front of him coming down the road.
Right.
They got all 3 angles
Right.
of a horrific crash.
Right.
After the crash, you can see in the car, Travis's arm comes out the window,
Right.
and it's scary as hell.
Right.
And when he crashes and he's done and he hits the ground, and I think they're sideways,
Right.
and he asks,
Are you okay? Are you okay?
yes,
Woohoo!
yes. And so he asks the co-driver, are you okay? And he goes, yes, I'm okay, pissed off.
Right.
And Travis goes, woohoo, that was a hell of a ride.
Right.
And, Travis's first major accident in a roll cage, it's usually on a dirt bike, and he's in the hospital when he gets going. And so anyway, he survived. He was super excited and pumped. We got all the footage. When I saw the 3 things, I was like, that was the best $175,000 we ever spent.
Yeah.
On my way home through the airport, that footage was on SportsCenter.
Right. Yep.
A week later, 2 weeks later, Subaru called and said, Lance, we want you to restart the team.
Holy smokes. So Travis crashing was the catalyst.
Yes.
Probably.
Yes.
Holy
yes,
smokes.
Yes, the SportsCenter thing.
Yeah.
So after meeting Travis, he was quoted in Washington Post 2 weeks after the school, and it said, I want to go rallying.
Right.
And that word rallying was in the Washington Post.
Okay.
And I could not believe it. He's staying to the path,
Right.
to the agreement, and we're going to go rallying.
Right.
And so the accident, that was something too. It caught a lot of eyeballs.
Right.
And it showed, there was life in rally.
Right.
People would watch rally if it was exciting enough. And,
Right.
and then we started to rebuild. In 2005, we ran Travis as a customer.
Right.
Sorry, not Travis. Ken as a customer. Travis had some support, and then it grew into full support after that for both of them.
Yeah.
So, that was the restart. Crazy. And then,
amazing.
with Ken's marketing ability and the things he would do just for DC Shoes using Subaru cars,
Right.
unheard of.
Ugh.
So we were, he did Gumball 3000
Right.
and did the shoes to match the cars.
Right.
I had no clue, why are we making these cars such gaudy colors?
Right.
Right? Orange wheels and blue wheels and all this. And I was so out of my element. And it was a home run.
Yeah.
It was just a home run. And we just, watched him from there on like crazy ideas that would grab eyeballs.
Yeah.
Between the two of them, what a powerhouse
Yeah.
in this new age of marketing.
Yeah.
The internet and all of that stuff, shocking. And not literally, I was the nuts and bolts guy. I'll get it to the event, and
You guys decide the flash and show part of it.
I'll sit back.
Yeah.
But I do have to say though, when Ken Block was driving one of the first events in a camo car, I believe we were in Missouri in the rain, and we were at the Park Expose in town, and I was like, hey, you got to get out there and sign autographs. Travis had a line,
Yeah.
and he says, oh, they don't want my autograph. They don't care about me. I said, you need to get out there. You need to, be a race driver, be a personality. Because, of course, the goal is to keep going and have somebody pay for this,
Right.
And so he went out, finally would sign autographs, and then he became, a personality then. And
I've heard multiple stories. He never really wanted that side
he
of it,
didn't want
right?
that.
Yeah.
But then he created a personality,
Right.
and became that guy.
All these spectator fans, they just
Yeah.
want to
Yeah,
see somebody
yeah.
in a race suit, and like I'm getting to experience that as well. They have
Yeah.
no idea who I am, but
Yeah.
I'm willing to sign us a sign
I think
poster.
To do the other rallying and the things that he wanted to do and not fund it all himself, he had to create a personality.
Yeah.
Right? Travis came in as Travis.
Right.
He had a personality.
Right.
And so Ken's evolved over time,
All right, so that's an amazing kind of breakdown of getting the deal with Travis. You've
Yep.
got the deal with deal with Subaru. Ken's now involved, and
Yeah.
you're really creating a brand. You're a team owner. You're a team manager. You're out of the worrying probably about the day to day as much now, and you can really start thinking of the bigger vision of what Vermont Sports Car can be. What is that like in that role at that point for you? What is it like to be, a part of all of this? What's going through your mind at that point in your life?
When it all started to come together, where we knew we were going to be racing the next year.
Yeah.
It was about everybody in the world wants sponsorship.
Right.
Right? They want somebody to pay for the racing.
Right.
But for me, the key is it's quite a challenge to be a benefit to a brand.
Right.
Right?
Right.
It's in my opinion, it's not about winning. It's about winning races, yes.
Sure.
But that's the bottom line.
Sure.
That's the first
minimum.
basic. You're being
Right.
paid to win.
Right.
But then after that, it's what can you do outside of winning.
Right.
Right. And thankfully, with the people around me, we've been able to cultivate a really amazing following for the Subaru brand.
Right.
Right. They are the most passionate, most loyal, young demographic in motorsports today.
Right.
What I'm really proud of is when Subaru pulled out of the WRC in 2008, we continued.
Yeah. That is amazing.
Our fan base kept going,
Right.
right? We are now the largest motorsports program for Subaru in the world, and we have been for a while.
Yeah.
And the fact that their sales have gone up over the years, they've grown, they're solid in America. Subaru sells 11% of the cars in Vermont. Think of that. I mean, we're not that we did that.
Sure.
We're not that. And with their sales, we're such a small part. But we provide some excitement and some passion to the brand, and that's
Right.
the job.
That's amazing.
Right? And then you can evolve into the Gymkhana things and all
Sure.
that stuff outside of motorsports, you know, the Subi Fest, the other activations we do, the big jump,
Yeah.
There's more to it than rallying. And so long as it's helping to build the brand, that's great.
Yeah.
The things that I worry about, I still do day-to-day stuff.
Sure.
But thankfully, not the operations in the shop.
Okay.
But where are we going tomorrow? Where we are here today has nothing to do with me.
Yeah.
The day-to-day testing or whatever it is they're doing, I can't really help on that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was involved when we decided where we were going to go and where we're going tomorrow. So that's
Has it
my
felt
main
like
focus.
some of these moments were just like that's just what I expected, finally it showed up? Like, or has it been better than expected? Or like when you have had a time to reflect on some of your achievements and some of the things that you've done, has it always been in like this is just what I was always hoping for, or it's better than I hoped for?
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Way beyond my wildest dreams.
Okay.
So I in the end, really, I wanted to be a race driver. That's how I started. Everybody wants to be a race driver.
Right.
I fell in love with the sport at its core, and I really fell in love with the business of the sport.
Yeah.
Because this is a tough sell.
Right.
Right? This is not IndyCar. This is not NASCAR. It's not Formula One. We're in the woods in the rain at night.
Right.
Right? And in the day.
Right.
And we have to explain that and what the value of that is, and being a benefit to the brand and attracting the right demographic to our sport is my job. Right? And now I have 65 employees. Right, at VSC. We're in 75,000 square feet that I own with a partner. Another
no bowling alley.
Huh? No bowling alley, no. But what I'm saying is it's mind-blowing to where it is today. And Vermont Sports Car is known around the world.
It is.
I went to Goodwood a few years ago, right? First time. And we brought the Air Slayer, and people knew about our program. They knew we didn't have a rally car. They knew we built rally cars. And the Air Slayer finished second overall, blew my mind. It was a car we built for stunts. It was never to go up the hill the fastest. You know, it was for donuts and jumping and sliding and all of that. And and to go there and, you know, it beat a McLaren race car that you can buy worth $2.5-3 million, 911 GT3 RS, you know, and I think it didn't get beat by, it got beat by an electric,
the Ford truck
thing.
Yeah,
Ford van at that time.
Oh, van, yeah.
2,000 horsepower.
Right.
So what my staff, and it's not me, what my staff have been able to create for performance out of the Subaru car is just astonishing to me.
Yeah.
Right. And you know, years ago we tried to do rallycross, and it took us a long time to build a reliable engine. Vermont Sports Car built an engine from scratch. We eventually got a very reliable engine that could produce the power that it needed, and we won the championship. You know, against Ford and Volkswagen, and you know, it was that those races prior to that, when we would break or have a problem, I was in tears. They would try to interview me. I couldn't do it. I'm like, no, I'm trying here really hard. And then when we finally won the championship, that was very, very satisfying.
Wow.
So today, you know, I've done well in rallying. My people are you know, I believe well taken care of. One of my goals was to have the best motorsports opportunity in New England. And I think we do that. You know, our people have health insurance. They have a 401k. It's a real job. Vacation, you know, those types of things.
And still get to do one of the coolest jobs.
Yeah, and do a pretty cool job, right? But it's very hard work. Yeah. I mean, they can tell you.
Right. We have the similar experience at Team O'Neill.
Yes, of course.
Right.
And so anyway, I'm very proud of that. I'm extremely proud of being able to give back to them and to be a benefit to Subaru and provide them some excitement. But to be honest, I tried to retire a few years ago. Like we've won a lot of championships. Right? What else is there to do?
Right.
And I kind of got it. We built a new building, and that was expensive. And you know, my butt was on the line with it. It was a lot of money, and I got very stressed out, and I couldn't manage anymore.
Yeah.
So I said, you know, this is the time. I'll let the young people do it, and I'll step away. And then I couldn't do that either. So after a year and a half, that was driving me crazy, and I decided, you know what? There's more to life than this, and I'm not done yet. So I went back to work, and VSC wasn't doing the wrong thing, but it was trying to supply parts to street cars and tuners and things like that. And that's really our second try at it. And that's not who we are.
Yeah.
So I went back and I was like, look, we're going to do more motorsports. That's who we are. So let's get going. And thankfully, we Rallycross was happening and Gymkhana was happening and things started to go up, and it got real serious. So I had a lot to do, and then I was re-energized.
Right.
And today, do you want
let's transition into, so now you've kind of came back out of renetirement, and you're on to do something pretty amazing. So I'll let you just kind of tell us where that whole thing came from.
Yeah. My next vision I had was when I look at a lot of rallying in the United States, for a lot of teams, it's not much different than it was when I started.
Right.
Okay.
It's a hobby.
It's a hobby. It's very difficult. There's not a lot of money.
And there's not a lot of value in return.
Yeah. They're struggling. I've had people spend their retirement rallying and not tell their wives about it.
Right.
It's difficult. I took a step back and I was like, look, to myself, I think I can help here. And that's what I'm trying to do now. So what I saw is when I wasn't worried about my own stuff and winning trophies, right? The amazing story that we have in American rallying, all the Europeans that come, our roads are really good. The stages are so different in different parts of the country. The community is so strong. Our park exposés are something they don't do in Europe. Yeah. The drivers are personable. They get out. They talk to the fans. The fans can get to see the cars.
Right.
We're engaged in the community of rally.
Right.
Okay. And I think I can use that to help other teams.
Yeah.
I've made a reasonable living at rally.
Right.
There's not a lot of others that have.
Yeah.
Right. And if I can get a few teams, a few businesses to make a living, drivers to get rides, that would be extremely satisfying.
Right.
So it wouldn't be like, oh, VSC did this. Here's the year, 25 years of this, and then it just stopped and we're all the same. That's not what I want. Right. So my effort now is going into the development of rally, the development of ARA. I've started a new business that's the name of it is Rally Forward, and it's really the promotional side of ARA. Right. So I'm not involved in the rules. I'm not involved with the timing and scoring. I'm not involved with the operations at events.
Right.
I'm involved with the branding, what an event may look like in a few years, the activation, trying to get others to join the sport.
Creating value,
yes.
Right? So then if we're competitors, we could lean on that value and maybe get our own sponsors and create an actual series and events could then finally get sponsorships, because I know events struggle to get sponsors.
Correct. And I'm still studying, right? 2025 is a year of study. So was 2024. I was still on the team, but I was seeing all these things and writing things down and say, what was I going to do? Right. And I have a silent partner in that job with myself. And our goal is to elevate rally as a whole in the United States.
Right.
So that means the events, the competitors, the teams that are doing business in the sphere, the rally schools, right? And just recently, I've made an alliance with Eric Hubbard from the back roads of Appalachia.
Right.
Okay. And I watched a 2-minute and 17-second video that was passed to me by a good friend of mine, Dan Anktel, right? And Dan said, Lance, you probably should watch this. So I watched that little video. And Eric's mission is to create economic impact throughout Appalachia using motorsports.
Right.
All types of motorsports.
Right.
Well, I have a bias towards rally.
Right.
But as long as rally's included, I'm in, right?
Sure.
So I flew down there and I met with Eric. I spent 3 days with him and we drove around and looked at roads and we started talking about it. So Appalachia, since the downturn of coal, has had a devastation, certainly eastern Kentucky, with the economy.
Right.
It's also the United States epicenter for the opioid addiction area. And his belief is, and I believe him, is if he can drive some economic impact,
Right.
he can create some jobs.
Right.
He can get people
Tourism.
off the drugs. Yeah, bring
Right.
some tourism, get people off some drugs, and better his area. Excuse me. I'm all in on that because my goal is to prove the value of rally in the United States.
Yeah.
Well,
He is an area that it could be.
here's a blank sheet of paper,
Right.
right, in one of the most challenged areas of the country.
Right.
Okay,
And they happen to have some sweet gravel
they
roads.
have beautiful roads. So the byproduct of the coal industry are these twisty gravel roads that are hard as a rock. You can run down these roads. We do Boone Forest Rally, right?
Right.
And I've helped support Boone Forest Rally in the beginning. And, he put an event on. I asked John Buffum and Mark Everett to go down and help the second year.
Right.
And now we've got some other people helping this year. And they're trying to organize a quality event down there, which it is good and it's growing. But the fact is the community engagement is unsurpassed. The government interest in rally down there is magnificent. I've been down, I would say I've probably been there 7 times.
Wow.
I've been introduced on the state, in the state house. I've spoken to the governor. I've met the economic secretary down there multiple times, the Senate president multiple times, the college, Eastern Kentucky University president, right? So I've been down there discussing how to build rally in the area.
Wow.
It's my intention, and it's happening now, that we will create a headquarters for ARA training in Kentucky.
Wow.
Okay, and I'm
Through the
talking.
college. Or
Yes, working with the college,
Okay.
but actually with Backroads of Appalachia on the facility, a
Okay.
piece of road.
Nice.
They have a couple of 100 acres,
Nice.
and we're going to do standardized control workers, marshals, organizer training, all of that.
Wow.
So I'm not an organizer,
Yeah.
right? I've never put on an event on. I've been to hundreds of events. And all of us in the rally community, there's a lot of us that are getting older.
Yes.
So the talent staff is retiring,
Yes.
okay? And the people with all the knowledge is getting older.
Right.
So I want to form an advisory board that can help guide the people, the younger people that are interested in rally.
Right.
So I want to formalize some of that education and pass it down in a
Smart.
structured manner.
Smart.
Right?
Yeah.
I don't really know how to do that. But in the military, that's how it happened.
Right.
Right? So if I can apply some of that, and literally, I'm not telling them how to do it. I just want to pull the knowledge
people
together,
yeah.
right? I'm not telling ARA how to do it, but I'm giving them ideas on how to do things, right? Some is accepted and some is not. That's fine.
Sure.
And my goal is not to take over ARA. I just want to leave it in good hands,
sport, yeah.
right? And so it's a different play than what's happened before. And I'm very connected to Kentucky. I really think I can make something go there that's for the benefit of rally.
That's awesome.
And if I can prove economic impact in Kentucky, I can tell you that ARA, there are certain events in the U.S. that do economic impact reports.
Right.
But I can say ARA will fund it next year to have it done for all events. I'm hoping to do nationals and regionals.
Wow.
So we can go back to the communities with a standardized report that's certified by the government, done by a university in Washington, and we can share that information with the organizers and the operators of those events, so they have more tools to go to the community.
Because
Okay.
that proves. Right.
Yes, we're doing something that's other than using your roads, so we can hopefully get less road fees. We can get more buy-in for the community, so we can have food trucks at events,
Right.
or schools at events, and all of that. And I want to be accepted nationally.
Yeah.
Okay, as a sustainable form of motorsports.
Yeah.
With our activation through ARA this year, we've brought Kubota Tractor Corporation as a title sponsor for the sport. Okay, this year. They sell tractors to rural Americans.
Yeah.
They don't sell tractors in downtown Daytona Beach or Indianapolis, right? But they sell them to people that have property.
Right.
We're surrounded by those folks.
Right.
So we did a display. We had a very nice discussion. You know, Alex and Rihanna have a very good relationship with Kubota, and they made an introduction. We did this display, and I had the opportunity to speak to them. Nice. They joined ARA. And VSC branded a car for them. They helped support Connor a little bit, and we're doing activations with that.
That's awesome.
At events, and they see the results. They see the social media results. They have a buy-in to a sport now. It's extremely reasonable priced compared to what they do in other sports, and that's the start. We have 4 tire manufacturers involved this year.
Right.
Okay, and we always had one. Now we have formally 3 others that are there, and I want everybody involved. Okay. I can tell you the sport is speaking to 6 manufacturers right now. Some we have, some we don't have. I'm not doing it. Okay, I do hear what's going on. It's not my job. Preston Osborne's doing a great job with that. But the interest is coming to American rallying. One thing that I did do this year is you know, we have Dirtfish that does our social media and activation at events. And we also hired Andy DeRossi. Yeah. Is that how you say that? Mm-hmm. Andy had a very big following for automotive related stuff, and he was a rally driver in ARA. And he's not rallying this year. So ARA went to him, not Lance. They went to him and discussed with him about doing social media at events for the field. Right? It's very easy to talk about the top tier. But the stories inside of ARA are what I want to explain. You know, I was at an event when I came back. You know, I was at an event and I was looking, and there was a pregnant lady changing a tire in the service area. They don't do that in IndyCar.
That's
right?
For sure.
Okay, this is serious motorsports. These folks are committed. They're driving their own service truck across the country to do a rally. I did that. It was an adventure every time. I want to talk about it. You know,
wheel bearings fail, tires pop.
These people are, you know, we're funded, but not everybody is. But the authentic story that we have for rallying is great human interest and great sport. Okay, they are trying. And it will come, and I want to explain some of that. The story of the Tabors. You know, you have a grandmother driving with a granddaughter or whatever. You have a father and a son racing against each other. What? You know, I mean, those things are just mind-blowing in the world of motorsports, and nobody's talking about it. So we are going to. And that's what Andy does. He goes down the field. He speaks to people. There are so many good stories. And if I can get support from sponsors, I'm going to tell more of the stories. I want to get the series streaming, and I want to do the series not just for the top teams, not just for the funded teams. We will do that. But we're also going to go deeper in the field because I fully believe, you know, rallying is authentic, and that's what people want to see. You know, if I was to use the term a reality TV show, that would do a disservice to American rallying. Okay, reality TV was something it was. Now it's something different, and I'm not going to let it go there. Okay,
we don't need to focus on the drama. We just need, there's enough crazy stuff that's happening. We don't need guys throwing fists at each other. It's
correct. If we focus on the true drama. The true reality, you're going to get drama.
It's already there naturally.
I got my card out. I'm buying my last tank of fuel. Does anybody have any used tires in the paddock that I can put on my car? That's what we're going to show. And if the the manufacturers, I believe they will come, and I believe they will help support us, and I believe we can tell their story while we're telling these other stories. I don't think it hurts them. I think it helps them.
Right.
And
a motorsport specific, community, obviously there's going to be failures and things that don't go perfectly.
That's right. And we have a really unique thing in Ohio. We will have the student body from Northwestern Ohio University there. They now have a rally club. There are 90 students in that rally club.
Really?
They're volunteers. They want to be marshals. They're helping crew. Wow. They're engineering students. They're technical students. They're wrapped around rally. IndyCar has activations with universities. NASCAR certainly has activations with universities. And I want ARA and Rally in America to have activations with universities. I got another call from, I think it's Northwood University in Michigan, and they want to, we're discussing, they want to bring business students and marketing students to discuss rally. And that came to them from their students.
Wow.
They don't want to go see IndyCar.
Right.
They want to go and see rally and talk about graphics and branding. And it's not technical.
Right.
Wow. We've broken out of the mechanic and the welder and the driver.
Right.
We've moved beyond that.
Yeah, the business of rally.
Huge.
That's awesome.
Huge. So I'm at it. That's where I'm headed.
That's
and
awesome.
I want to do that. I think there's great momentum in American rallying, and I want to be the guy that takes it to the next level.
Right.
And
hand it off.
Yeah. I want, I'd love Vermont Sports Car to carry on one day. I've told everybody this. My retirement day is August 4th, 2031.
Okay.
I'll be 70.
There you go.
That's the day I'm done.
Nice.
And it's official. Right? Whatever it is.
Now you back plan from there.
Yeah. I'm going to have a great time till then.
Yeah.
And then really there are other things I want to do in life. I've given my life to this sport.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't have changed it for anything in the world, but there are other things to do. So it's going to be good. I'm looking forward to this next chapter. It does put myself and VSC at extremely high risk right now.
Sure.
I'm challenging the systems.
Sure.
But I do believe it's the best thing for the sport and the best thing for the brands and the everybody. I think it's trust me. Please trust me on this one. I'm very worried.
There's a lot of people that support what you're doing.
Yeah, I've had some great calls from people that I've known for many years to say, Lance, you're the guy, go for it, know? And I've had others say, we don't want you to do that. But I want everybody to know this is the biggest thing. It's not a Lance Smith money grab.
Right.
I don't get paid by ARA. I don't get paid by Rally Forward. Currently I'm an investor.
Right.
It'd be great to get my money back one day, but that's all I'd like.
Yeah.
And if I don't, that's fine too.
Right.
I want to see this thing go, and I would love to be at home watching it on TV one day. I'd laugh, and I just,
know
good
that
job.
you did.
Yeah.
You laid the groundwork.
That's
so
my
that
hope.
could happen.
Yeah, for sure.
So if people want to connect with you, is there a good way for them to reach out to you? Do you like social media, or? Is
I'm sorry. I certainly believe in the value of social media, but I don't do it.
Okay.
I have my staff does a great job.
Yeah.
Eugene and Chris, they do a great job. So that's what they do. I don't do it all.
Yep.
So I do follow my drivers,
Okay.
and I look at dog videos.
Sure.
I'm into dog training. I really like that. But my email is lance@vtcar.
Okay.
And
So
that's
you want
it.
people, if they do have a question, they'll reach out to you. That's okay.
Yes. I would say the best thing to do is do it to Lance and also info@vtcar. I can't answer everything that's happening right now.
Yeah.
So, but when there's something serious that come in, they usually get me, and then I'm there. I am trying to communicate as much as I can.
Yeah.
But
a lot of things take your time.
yeah,
and
right now it's
you
difficult.
can't
I'm
get
wearing a few hats. So that's really it. But
Thank you
yeah,
for
we're
your
doing
time, Lance.
No
There's
problem.
so much
Yeah.
big nuggets in here. And just again, such a personal pride point
Yeah.
to be able to sit with you. So
Yeah, it's been
thank you.
fun, huh?
Yeah.
It's going to continue to be fun.
Well, thank you for everything.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much for
Appreciate
having
you.
me.
Yeah.
Have a great day. See ya.